the opposite. Expects him to play more time through the middle of the ground.
Which is interesting given how much they've struggled the last couple of weeks to put their score on the board as well. So they've got their own issues.
Yeah, they've got their issues in the middle of the ground from a centre bounce point of view as well. So someone's going to have a good night tonight after having struggled for a couple of weeks. It is a big night. It's a really big night. You don't want to get behind. And if the Giants go down here, they're 1-3 start to the season. It's not going to be great. And from a Collingwood point of view, if they were to drop it, they go 1-2. So perfect conditions. Let's see if they can get their free-flowing footy that we saw in the first couple of weeks with a lot of other sides going.
And crowd is really filling up late here. The Bones were always there with fans all around the Marvel Stadium, but unlike some clubs, the Collingwood fans, they do come to Marvel. They mightn't love it as much as the MCG, but that's where they're hosting tonight on Friday Night Footy. And Darcy Moore back in amongst it.
Where did you have the Pies coming into the season, Gaz?
They would be in contention for the 10. I think they have a chance to be somewhere, but down the bottom half of that top 10, if you like. It's a long season, and we know that they've got some players that have played a lot of footy, so they've got to hold up and hold together deep into this season. So it'll be an interesting watch. That's why you've got to back.
Just throw that. We don't need to go.
Though, who is going to make them competitive every time they play, and his brother's playing equally as well. So it's a joy to come along and watch that. It'll be interesting to see how they deal, they being the GWS Giants, how they deal with it.
We saw a shot of Ollie Hannaford, who's going to start on the ground. I love starting debutants rather than making them sit on the bench and have the nerves of sitting there waiting, itchy to get out there. Put them straight in the mix, as Fly has done with the young ruckman, who's going to take the first one, Oscar Steen.
Good for the parents and family that come along as well, Jay. So they have to sit there nervously and wait for them to come out onto the ground.
So we wait no longer. Round 3, Friday Night Footy. The Magpies, fresh from a bye. The Giants heading into one, trying to avoid 3 losses in a row. And Oscar Steen's career starts in the ruck, but the Giants get the first clearance. Maynard, always a cool hand, and to Goey, well up the ground to start matters. And off to Houston is really into his rhythm, as we see through the first couple of weeks. Delivering to Pendlebury, almost could have gone for it himself. Instead, he kicks for Membry, who takes a juggling mark as he did late against Adelaide. It was about the only major contribution he made that night a couple of weeks ago, but there's a good start for him.
Perfect start. In actual fact, it's just strength in the end over Himmelberg. So quick ball movement, get him a chance and get him a look one out. We know they went a bit slower in that first game against St Kilda, but this was direct. He's taken 5 inside 50 marks. He's their leading inside 50 mark player for the season, and this would be a perfect start.
He's played more games at Marvel than any other Magpie. 101, in fact, for 174 goals. So these environs are not strange to him. Tim Membry delivers Collingwood's first goal. And if the Pies fans and coaches wanted their forward line to fire, that's a great start.
That's a perfect start for the Pies, but it was terrific rebound from half-back. I thought there was a lack of commitment from the Giants forwards in actually competing for this ball when it goes to half-forward. A great clearance. They're just all standing a little bit flat-footed, and then the Pies take it away. And you see they get involved with a quick hand pass, and Houston a little chip kick to Pendlebury. I was a little bit surprised that no forwards actually led up at Pendlebury. He's a beautiful dink kick, and I reckon if I was a forward, I'd be hitting straight up at him. But they want that deep entry, don't they?
And in Buckley's absence, Himmelberg's probably going to have to play a bit taller tonight than he usually does.
So maybe that's going to be the MO. Let's test them out one-on-one in deep in attack without Buckley and without Taylor. Perfect start.
Having said that, Himmelberg's not giving size away to Membry, is he?
Steen, lovely jump down to Nick Dacos, straight back inside. Holefield and spoil made. Schultz in hands.
Wow. I don't know what Fondy was meant. I think it was Fondy. I don't know what he was meant to do there.
I don't know, but the rest of the Collingwood team are getting to the debutant because of the beautiful work from the middle. So he kind of ran into Fonty in the end. He was pushed into it probably by Lockie Ash. But I tell you what, if he kicks this goal, they're going to go back to Oscar Steen, and we'll slow-mo the replay for you because it was pure, Jerry.
If he can spend his days feeding Nick Dacos like that, there is a rich career to be had. Lockie Schultz has kicked a pair of goals in each of the first 2 games to double up for the Pies. What 4 ways did you say?
It's 2 entries, 2 goals, and away they go. So Craig McRae tells Rudy pre-game that Oscar Steen is not only going to make his debut, but he's going to take the first centre bounce, and their eyebrows were all raised a bit. But have a look at this. That is worthy of Gary Dempsey back in the day, Jared. If you don't know who that is, everyone go and look him up. That is quite magnificent, and they've got 2 goals on the board in the blink of an eye.
I'm not sure what they expect Fonte to do. You can't jump out of the way. He was trying to get back, and the momentum of the tackle and the contest takes him into the leg. So I think it's a fortunate free kick.
So they've struggled at centre bounce, the Giants, and they've had to put on them straight away. Let's watch with interest.
Tom Steen has the biggest vertical leap at the club. He has a head start at 201 centimetres, but there it is. He got the tap again. And they're going to have to read his taps, aren't they, tonight? They're able to do that there. Oliver with a forward handball to Green. Callahan going too fast for the footy angle. Look at McCreary, like a freight train charging through. Pendlebury to Josh Dacos. Had Houston, but couldn't get it to him. Settled on Pendlebury in the end. Still using that guy, leaving tied up against the boundary. Great smother from Callahan to set them forward, and a chance inside 50 perhaps. Riccardi with a floater. Gothard from the pocket. Pass or shoot. Shoot! And score! A goal.
Gee, that's a clever goal. That is absolutely brilliant. And what I loved about it was he had a really good look. He was looking for options in the middle of the ground, looking in the corridor. Is there a square-up kick? And then he said, there actually isn't, and there wasn't. So he took it upon himself to thread the needle, and he does that.
I love the young debutant. So we've got a debutant for Collingwood that had a say in a goal. It was Ollie Hannaford who tackled Josh Dacos then that kept the ball in that front half. So he has a big say in it. Tommy Hawkins spoke glowingly about this young man and his capacity to sum things up. This is the tackle, and Josh Dacos might have pulled up a little bit sore. We'll have a look at it in a moment. That is a great finish. Got the bounce just at the right time. But the Hannaford tackle on Josh Dacos would be a little concerning, all right, now for not only Pete and Colleen, but the rest of the Collingwood supporters.
Josh has departed the scene. Steen up over the top of Briggs, but Briggs gets his revenge at ground level. Callahan steers the Giants forward. Moore's first involvement is telling. Didn't finish in the top 10 last year in the Copeland Trophy. His one-on-one work was exemplary, though. Nick and Quaynor combined. Cameron's the target up the line. He's a tall target at that, but Ash underneath for the Giants. They're going to try to link this up, and Ash is their primary player to take the yardage. Gothard set himself wide. He stuff from side bottom, instant play on. Used his running mate Pendlebury. Sweeps it inboard for Nick Dacos. Set him up in the pocket earlier. Almost. Iden clears initially. Side bottom for the follow-up effort. Not to be. Anglin, Gothard's hot. Ball loose. Nick on the gather. Sleight of hand, but he's turned it over.
He did to Oliver. And he's tried to work it away, but Pies another idea. As Chris started, it might be DeGoey who takes the flying shot. Cameron, early one-on-one with Laverty, and he's marked it just inside the line.
Everything that Fly McRae's doing at the moment is turning to gold. The ruck in the middle, and now Cameron going forward.
Wasn't your standard entry kick, was it really?
If he kicks this, then I'll take your word for it that he's a frustrated forward playing in the ruck.
I didn't quite say that, Gaz. But he has kicked his share of goals, as you can see, with 70 in his career. Hard to believe he only managed one game with the Swans. He's been the frontline ruckman at Collingwood the past 4 years. And now we get to test his left boot from the boundary. And it wasn't a bad shot, but it might have hit the post.
There's the Dacos injury as we wait for confirmation that this has hit the post. So young Hannaford hits his head as well, but the shoulder's a concern.
And he went straight down into the rooms after that as well, so still down there getting it checked out.
So not HIA, Rube.
No, well, he was cradling his shoulder. The trainer went out to him and
see the ball deviates after making contact with the post.
See how he's moving, so I'm thinking shoulder at the moment.
Yeah, he picked the land on one shoulder and then the other.
All clear, Matt. All clear. David Roden sees them well. 7-point lead to the Pies. Laverty marks the kick in. Up the line. Put Brown into space. Krzyzewski works hard down the line. Angwin as well. And just holds it up, maybe longer than might have been ideal. It'll have to be a long kick to a contest. Riccardi said himself he's going to have plenty of company in the air. Up went Hogan, couldn't mark. Delana out the side, Angwin works it on. Riccardi with the snap, almost perfectly, waited for Stringer, who's trying to shepherd Gothard in for his second. The give and go, the show. The youngsters trying to work it out. Thomas thwarted at the last.
Terrific smother from Perryman. They were trying to keep it alive. Looked like they were going to find a little target in the corridor as well. Good defensive pressure.
Ex-Giant Harry Perryman, of course. His second season as a Pie. Steen gets displaced in the ruck and not within the rules according to the umpire. Free kick against Kieran Briggs.
Stand, please. Come on.
And big Oscar Steen gets his first handball.
15,
Off to Dacos. Super short. Perryman.
Nick Dacos being afforded all sorts of space at the minute. He's had six touches, and there's no great tag. In fact, he's been run around on his own.
Yeah,
Well, Adam Kingsley did say it'd either be a team responsibility or a hard tag. He said they'd do one of them. Doesn't look like a hard tag, that's for sure.
They had the hard tag last week with Angren on Messiah Wanganeen Miller, and they gave that up before half-time. Here's James Lee in for his fourth game. 3 last year, young Tasmanian. And Ash is able to get himself clear. Can they get some system and run? They can. Cornelio with the legs to half forward. He shows and now gets past Maynard. All about the kick into the 50 and well gathered by Gothard. Not a mark. Delana the tackler. It's a bit of a team effort to put the pressure on this Magpie defence, and as a result to Oliver into his lap and in towards goal. Just the wrong side.
To be much more aggressive, the Giants, the way they were preparing to run this footy. You saw that Ash took it on, Cornelio's taken it on, been much more aggressive.
Ball ran a long way, brings it out to Crisp, tipped away from him by Angwin. They'll scrap underneath, Angwin between the legs, worked it around. Brown with a chance, pops it over the top, and Riccardi can go back and contemplate the angle.
So the Giants have had 13 kicks and 26 handballs. Gives you a bit of an insight, Jason, to how they're going about this early.
Really clever kick from Callum Brown, though, because it actually drew Riccardi back infield. He was standing right on the boundary line. He's now 10 metres in with a bit of angle for the kick.
3 against the Hawks in opening round, only 1 since. How is his boot tonight? Across the face.
Josh Dacos back up on the bench, was given a couple painkillers by the doctors, but he looks like he's ready to go.
Thank you, Rubes. So is Dan Houston. Pies by 5. It's been a much better last few minutes from the Giants. Tough one for Long to exit. He's done well to cling on to that.
Lucky he did, Hutto. There were 3 Giants at his feet had he not marked that.
Creative hands from Dacos. Playing to give him the run off halfback to go. He said, up goes Ash. He was set up to be a step ladder there to go. There's a pretty comfortable mark with the ride for Ash. They go across halfback. Laverty from Cornelio. And out to the wing. Thomas at full stretch. And an offering from Stringer down the line. Krzyzewski there as well. Plays it out wide, and it's Luke's kick being smothered. Nobody was trying to bring the youngster into the game. It wasn't a smart decision.
He had Darcy Moore and Frampton down the line, so he looked up and didn't want to hand the footy back. So they're looking for that running support. As we said, they've been very handball happy early in the piece. This is just a nice pure jump.
Right on halfway for the throw-in. Riccardi takes his turn in the ruck. Sidebottom rounds things up. He'll create the direction of play. It's not much of a kick. Fonte cuts it off. Uses Ash. Quick link up with Himmelberg right through the middle. No good there. Ball is always favoured by it. So move it quickly. Houston. Lovely penetrating kick. Gives Membry a look. Elliott came out. He set him up. Laverty with the spoil and Thomas underneath.
Effective spoil it was, so Thomas's kick gets safely to Oliver, who's up to possession number 6 into Cornelio. He's had a pretty strong start to the season, whether he's played on ball or across half forward. Good to see him fitting well. This man's so full of run and dash. Almost 40 touches last week. Ash down to Angwin. Double lead from Hogan. Instead, it's got to be a middleman first. Fonte.
A generous interpretation Bo McCreary got away with there.
Nice little floating pass to Green.
So Toby is at times had a nominal responsibility for Nick and been trying to push forward at every single opportunity, and This is the first time he's been able to get into a dangerous spot.
So the captain in game 265, getting closer to become the Giants' all-time games record holder. Kicked a goal in opening round, none since. Not an easy kick, but this to give the Giants the lead. They'll need to find a marker deep. It was all Collingwood. Look at Steen, towering. Where's he been?
He's doing everything right. He is doing absolutely everything right as a young man, playing the percentages, feeding the taps out, win a possession, give the hand pass to a better runner and kick. Been a great start.
The Magpie crowd is roaring for everything that he does. Maynard brings the Pies in. Really have it set in the air. What about on the grounds? I think Dacos missed the hand pass, and that'll be the lasso.
So Darcy Moore has been a bit of a stumbling block when they've gone forward the last couple of times.
Good place to get it for the Giants. Angwin has let it all fill up deep. Takes the yardage, sets the mark. Hogan's in the middle, but across the front, Frank too strong.
So that's 3 intercept marks the last time they've gone deep forward. So it's something they're going to have to address pretty quickly.
A couple of them with Darcy Moore, just not getting a good enough attack from the key forwards for the Giants.
But it's coming in again as Callahan's hands were pure. And a re-entry. Really think of a different angle, a different method this time. No, it looks awfully similar, just a little shorter this time. O'Halloran was the unlikely target, but Steen almost paid the mark, not quite so. Pendlebury back to side bottom, and they try and get out again. Giants had first play on the ball, but it was awkward for Laverty. And this time Collingwood are able to force it over with Rowan Steele putting the pressure on Angwin.
Jake, Oscar, hold the meter.
Dacos has had 8 early. McCarty just planted himself. Green taken to ground by Nick. Stern stuff. No humour in that, Gaz.
No, none at all. In fact, they'd wear it as a badge of honour if they can pin each other throughout the course of tonight.
McCarty creative. Angwin. Callahan had to give ground to find the way. Whitfield good countered by Angwin. Sharp hands Giants. Fonte's the kicker inside 50. Will it hang to the advantage? It will. O'Halloran. It's a bit further out than he would have liked by the time he completed the mark.
Well, they've got one-on-ones deep. If he goes too slow, they're going to get outnumbered. Well, he's going to have a look at it now. They've still got one-on-ones in their forward 50, so there's no outnumber as such. Darcy Moore off the ground at the moment, Frampton. Now Cameron is working down, and he'll be the thorn if he drops this short.
7th season, nudging towards 100 games. Has built progressively through the 3 games to bring him here tonight. Xavier O'Halloran thumped this through from range. Contact was pretty good. It's the last yard, though, that's the most telling. He didn't quite have it in him.
That's a great pickup, isn't it, from Angwin? That is absolutely brilliant. Clean hands like that is the difference between going inside, having a shot for goal, or a quick rebound going down the other end.
So again, the Pies try and get out of their back line through Perryman, and the Giants defenders stepping up and playing in front.
Yeah, that was smart. That was smart from Himmelberg. He took front spot away from Embry, led him to the ball.
So Darcy Cameron again has parked himself deep. Stumbling block if they go long.
And they are. Himmelberg is a long kick. And in front, Howe. This time they bring it to ground, but over to Houston and to sidebone. Thought he could get through, and he was right to Crisp. Opens up the near side, bumps it down the wing towards McStay. Gets to the front. It's an open forward 50, as you would imagine. They've just got to get it there to Goey. The lead from Elliott is sharp and on it. But no mark. Iden has a way. Winning it back for his team. Thomas off the left is able to return it to him. And then the quick give. And can they create their own run? Through the middle, Callahan. Earnest and hard at his running. A third involvement to Riccardi. Haven't quite seen the opening forward. There's a gap there for Callahan. Long on the left. Brown at the front. Well denied by Quainer. Loose ball long. Back into trouble. Back into traffic. Steele batters it away. Good contest as this game has become. What a collect from Hannaford. Just got worked off it by Rowan Steele, but impressive signs below the knee.
That's a quick game. Madam Kingsley told us they want this ball to move quickly, and gee, they're sharing it by hand. The runners are there. They just can't connect quite as well going inside 50. It was perfect by Collingwood at the other end too.
Oh, he'd be disappointed, Jamie Elliott. It was a beautiful kick from De Goey.
Fonte first access, left it behind. Cameron and Schultz trying to bring it forward. Long, Fonte's got him and pinned one arm.
Yeah, that passage of play was superb. I mean, the run, the carry, the space. It was side bottom that used his legs out of half back that broke the whole thing open.
Josh Dacos ready to return, which is better than it looked a few minutes ago. Steele and Chris combine stoppage. Giants didn't get a kind bounce, but Ash is onto it. And he's got the pace to create his own space. Sweeps the hand pass rather riskily into the middle. Midfield was hot. Pendlebury took him down. Membry to Goey. The link-up play. Lipinski. Beautiful inside 50 for Mitch Day. And again, walks in and goal. After a substantial period defending, Collingwood take their chance.
Nothing coaches love more than those forward half turnovers when you put pressure on the opposition that's trying to transition from defence into attack. Lockie Ash has been terrific today. He's taken the game on. He's had 7 possessions. But on that occasion, he just couldn't. He was waiting for something to open up, hoping that something would materialise. And in the end, he was kind of forced to give a hand pass. And because he looped it over the top, it put the next player under pressure. And there's the quick turnover. And then all of a sudden, players out of position. You've no chance to defend that.
A Coles goal.
It was. So this is what Collingwood need to understand. That is the way that the GWS Giants want to play. We've seen already they've had 46 handballs in this first quarter. They're going to go and run and carry, but it does give you a chance. If you press up hard aggressively, you'll turn the footy over.
Going to be some fun in the corridor tonight. Crisp, who's been the #1 rated player for Collingwood so far this year. In amongst it in the middle again, but it's Giants ball, as you can see, through Ash to Fonte, charging those long strides. And had some options away to the left. Oliver has to just delay the handball a moment. Now to Thomas. That's a clever enough kick. Out wide. Hannaford doesn't have a shot. And maybe he wishes he did.
So it's run and gun. It's run and gun. You go, you run. You're going to get the ball. They're going to handball to you. You're going to run and cover the lines. Then it's up to you to try and finish the play. And then, so what sort of heat can Collingwood bring back the other way?
A few nerves in the start for the Giants debutants.
2 kicks, 2 out in the falls, but he's getting himself involved in the play, put himself in some good positions.
15 inside 50s, the Giants, to just 8 for Collingwood.
Yeah.
Cameron stands tall in the pack, flipped off his fingers at the last. Crisp was stopped in his tracks, back into dispute. Long, clever. Works at the Pendlebury. Got runners inboard. Josh Dacos, through he goes. Pick your target. Elliott sets. He'll get it to the back and knock it on. Membry with a chance. He'll kick his second. The quiet Collingwood forwards have awoken tonight.
Yeah, and I reckon if you ask them, Jared, what's the difference? This ball's coming down with some heat on it. They're not waiting for anything. There's no sideways uncontested mark game here from the Collingwood Footy Club. When they go, Chief, they are going quick.
And that's different to the way they've been in the first couple of games. We heard Adam Kingsley pre-game say he wanted the Giants to move it a little bit more quickly. Well, the Pies are doing exactly the same thing. And if you asked Craig McRae, what do you want pre-game? I'd love to see Membry and McStay get in the goals early. Well, they've got 3 of their first quarter goals.
Yeah, so 9 inside 50s, and they've cashed in. So, well, they've kicked 4 goals, 1 from their 9 entries. The GWS Giants on the other end of the ground had 12 inside 50s in a row and kicked 4 behinds. So the movement from both teams is great. The Giants are moving the ball better. They just can't convert.
So 3 of their 4 goals from their intercept work. Out of the middle goes Briggs, just lugs it forward inside 50. Hogan did well on Moore. It allows Stringer an opportunity. It won't be much of one with Quona for Company. Brown overran a little unexpectedly. Stringer pounced on it. Gothard. Hands were quick, but McCreary has some running mates. Off half-back, Josh Dacos placed it well. Membry in the heart of the ground, kept it moving. And so could Lipinski. Good decision to come forward, though, from Iden.
He stumbled. Jordan De Goey stumbled. He made the first move, stumbled, and Iden went past him.
Off to Ash, and then ultimately to Thomas. Out here on the dockside wing. Just twirls the thumbs for a moment, and then a moment longer, and maybe a couple of moments too long. A little bit of luck on his side. Callahan's about to have his 11th disposal through the middle. They are handballing at all costs. Linked up well with Briggs. Got it back to Whitfield, and a nice tuck Just a lovely tuck kick in there for Cornelio. This one has to be converted.
They just need a straight kick here. They've had plenty of opportunities going forward, as mentioned a moment ago, Gaz. Now that's 17 to 10, the inside 50, so plenty of territory. Got to hit some targets.
You've got to cash in, Jace. You've got to cash in. This is as wide open in an opening quarter as we've seen, I reckon. They are just going helter-skelter.
Too many of the Giants' entries, unfortunately, have been long bombs, which suits Collingwood perfectly.
So the former captain, Stephen Cornelio, in the absence of so many of their stars, they need those with the experience and the skill to come to the fore. Never easy from just on or outside 50, and that's missed by a margin, and he shakes his head.
So Finn Callahan sums up what the Giants are doing. He's had 12 touches. He's had 9 handball receives. So he's just get it, go, gets it back.
He's officially
More. So Collingwood just as intent to play on as the Giants. Brings it up to McStay. Crisp does the roving. McCreary got forward of the play. Darts off, has a quick look. Uses Pendlebury. Where to? Crisp on the follow-up. Long's just ahead. Crisp was going to do it himself initially. Drags the kick to full forward. Membry presenting for everything.
It's unrecognisable to the first couple of weeks for the Magpies. They've gone to work. They only had 40 inside 50s in the first game against...
He saw Membry point where he wanted the ball and he put it right there.
He had been the Pies' most targeted player through their first 2 games for pretty meagre returns. Tim Membry looking to cash in for a third first quarter goal. Collingwood building an ominous lead early.
They certainly are. And you have a look at it. So a lot of discussion was about their forward line coming into this. And so the players that we were talking about were Membry, McStay. Buller's being dropped for this game. He'd be sitting in the stand saying, why won't I play him when the ball's coming down like this? Because this is really hard to defend when you've got open space. When they're shooting like this with open space, then you're going to be a big chance.
That's perfect. You don't always have to lead straight away. You can indicate to the player with the ball where you want it simply by pointing. That's where the space was, and then you push off your man and go. It's a brilliant kick, a great lead, a good finish. He's had an outstanding first term, Tim Membry.
Yeah, what a difference a week can make as Darcy Moore goes past you down there, Rubes. We'll get an update on that soon. Most he kicked in a game last year. Tim Membry was 4 early in the season. Out of the middle end.
It's Big Oscar again, doing some work in the middle.
Delayed advantage taken by Rowan Steele. He blasts away. Out of bounce on the full.
Yeah, no, you have to now. Yes, you
All angles.
Very stern words from the umpire as Laverty directs it to Ash. And a rare slow play for the Giants out of defence.
Yeah, well, they've moved the ball from this area of the ground magnificently. They've gone 4 times out, 3 times in. It's a fantastic result, full length of the ground.
It'll take some extra work here for O'Halloran after the smother from Steele. Had the wheels to get around to the left, but Big Steen just plants the body and shake of the head from the Giants coach. Josh Takos back out there as he works in with Maynard, gets himself into the clear, and then over the top to Nick. It's a real lofted number deep. Lipinski is going to be the ladder for Himmelberg, who comes charging out. Fine aerials is Harry Himmelberg at either end of the ground, and he goes short to Ash, who continues to get a mountain of football. His 11th disposal to Whitfield, and again they come at the middle of the ground.
So that's one way to defend from Maynard. Look, mum, no hands. Quaynor shares with Frampton and spreads out the far side. Josh Dacos to control the angles of play. Takes his time to fully assess what's on offer and what's closed down. Lipinski was short, a fraction wider was Steele. Jerome Steele with a 2-on-1 up ahead. McCreary made the spoil to set to go. He on his way. He's just clicked over to 30 years of age. Pendlebury waited out the back. Almost. Brown knew what was on.
He couldn't believe his luck here. He stayed down, Scotty Pendlebury, and thought, what's the chance of this getting over the back? And it fell in his lap. He didn't realise he was about to be collared from behind.
Oh, Brown's
He's
kick.
not even looking.
It went nowhere as far as his teammates were concerned. Crisp. Hard ball to be won. Whitfield did the winning to Green. Now Hannaford takes off again. Out wide for Hogan. He is a long, long way from the goal square. Has to loop the kick over the top to Briggs. Got there just in time before Jeremy House. Stringer deep in the pocket, arms flailing around. He's going to have to run and jump over Quaino, which he does. Didn't mark, but he does help Riccardi score a goal, which was an absolute necessity for the Giants.
Boy, they needed it, and they got lucky coming out of defence. It was quite extraordinary. James Lee got his back to the footy. It nearly hit him in the back of the head. He was looking further afield to see where play was going to open up. Have a look at Darcy Moore here, because he's off the ground at the moment getting checked out. So just have a look at the way that he pulls up after that kick. You saw he landed.
Ooh, yeah.
Then the leg's a bit stiff.
Yeah.
That doesn't look great, so we'll get an update on that as soon as we possibly can.
Tommy Hawkins flagged at pre-game. He was a little concerned about bringing them both in at the same time. So the skipper, Darcy Moore, that's at the other end of the ground that sets his goal up.
Good kick.
He did a good job.
Great kick, and it should have been marked.
Well, and before that, Steen's been a handful for him at centre bounce, so he started to really push hard forward and get involved in the offence.
14-point margin. Steen just bashes it forward. Everybody toppled over, including the Oliver and Green combined. So Toby pumps it in deep. He wants Hogan. There's plenty against. Maynard toppled over the pack and got it all the way.
So straight away, that centre bounce shows you that Briggs is concerned about the leap of Steen. He is worried about him jumping over him. He tried to stay down, hoping he mistimed his jump. Didn't happen. Another tap out to the big man.
With good reason, I'd suggest, guys.
So they've come down to contest inside the Giants forward line now. Briggs looking for Toby into a brick wall. Gives him.
So I think both sides are going to enjoy quarter time. I'll take a deep breath. It's been played
pace, hasn't it?
At a frenetic pace. 19 inside 50s the Giants to 14 Collingwood. It has flown from one end of the ground to the other, and the Magpies have been more clinical.
Yeah, 3 of their goals originated in defence, where the ball is now. Back to the wing, Steen with the early ride again. Just getting his timing, Himmelberg and Membry. And that ends a pretty interesting opening quarter here at Marvel Stadium. Adam Kingsley would be relieved with that last goal. A lot of ball movement hadn't amounted to much until then. The Pies at one stage putting 3 consecutive goals together. But at quarter time, it's Collingwood 5-1-31, 14-point leaders over the Giants, 2-5-17. This and all the big round 3 games will be up for grabs and discussion with Jared and Gary on AFL 360 Cup Monday night. Alistair Clarkson, one of the special guest coaches. And then on the couch, Jack Revolt and his team, Nathan Buckley, Jordan Lewis and Tom Hawkins, to look back on all the on-field action on the couch.
All right, folks, there we go. Welcome in Friday night football. Quarter 1 has been done and dusted, and what a frenetic pace this game has been set in the opening term. But it's the Magpies 5-1-31 leading the Giants 2-5-17 there at Marvel Stadium, a place where the Maggies don't often play, but there we go. It's certainly suiting a gameplay. I tell you what, this is a fast pace. Both teams trying to play on from mark with the handball as often as possible, getting speed on the ball. I tell you what, both teams will be quite thankful. The quarter time siren has gone and they can have a little bit of a breather. Tell you what, both sides looking reasonably dangerous, both sides moving the ball pretty well. Magpies found a couple of good targets inside their forward 50 opening term, kicking straight. That's what it's all about in this game at the moment, kicking straight. The Giants having one more scoring shot than the Maggies, 7-6. The Giants just a little bit skew on their set shots. The Magpies having to defend well in their back line. But I tell you what, this is a ring-a-ding-ding game so far, folks. Although it's 14 points to margin, it's just the accuracy of the kicking that's causing this margin at the moment. Tell you what, I think this game's going to settle down just a little bit as the game goes on. As I said, it's a fast-paced, frenetic pace is this game so far. Let's head on over. Let's have a look at the goal scorers so far in this game. Of course, we've got a handful, and the only multiple goal scorer out there on the ground at the moment, of course, is Tim Membry from the Magpies. He's got his kicking boot on tonight. Of course, he's had some nice delivery to him. I tell you what, 3 straight goals, that's what you've got to do. Lockie Schultz has bobbed up for one for the Magpies as well. And of course, Daniel McStay on the boundary, another nice goal from him. For the Giants, Jake Riccardi got one, and Gothard also. They're the 2 goal scorers there for the Giants. Look, I think this could be a... I've said it before, this could be a high-scoring game. Could be free-flowing goals. It's just a matter of the accuracy, but 7 goals in the opening term, not too bad. Despite the ball magnets out there, well, it's the Giants players on top in the ball disposal at the moment. Finn Callahan tops the table with 12 disposals, 3 kicks, 9 handballs. He's had a mark. And, of course, Lockie Ash, next best there for the Giants on 11 disposals in this opening term. 6 kicks, 5 handballs, 3 marks. And we go down. Clayton Oliver, well, there we go. 10 disposals up in the top 3. Tell you what, when he played for Melbourne, he'd have about 10 disposals for the entire game. I tell you what, looks like he settled in well at his new home up there at the Giants. 4 kicks, 6 handballs, 2 marks, 3 tackles and a behind. Good to see him doing reasonably well up there for the Giants. Of course, for the Magpies, Nick Dacos tops their table with 10 disposals, 6 kicks, 4 handballs, a mark, a tackle, 2 clearances. There, your 4 players, all with double-figure stats in disposal count on the opening term. Harvey Thomas on 9, Lockie Whitfield on 8 there for the Giants. And, of course, Josh Dacos, the champion's brother. There we go. He's on 7 disposals there for the Maggies. Of course, most disposal getters out there on the leading ones are for the Giants. There we go. Scotty Pendlebury on 6, Isaac Quainer on 6, and, of course, Jake Riccardi on 6, as I said. 1 goal, 1 from his 3 kicks there, so doing quite well. Still side bottom. He's had 5 touches in the opening term. Toby Green there, 5 touches, 2 kicks, 3 handballs in that opening term. Jordan Ngoe, look, he's trying hard. He just hasn't had the ball delivered too well. 5 disposals for him. Who else? We got Lockie Schultz, 4 touches. Darcy Moore, 4 touches, 3 kicks and a handball. Did go onto the bench. We're going to find out.
But they looked all the world like a hamstring strain. We haven't got confirmation from Collingwood yet. So you remember 15 days ago...
so they're thinking it could be a hamstring for Darcy Moore. They're just checking him out just at the moment. So we should be able to find out a little bit later on. But there are your player stats.
There is absolutely no risk on him in terms of the soft tissue stuff. But as we know, he has very little race.
There we go. All right, let's head back down to the commentators and they'll take us into the bounce of the ball for the second quarter, where it's the Magpies by 14 points.
Boys, what do you think?
It's a great pick-up by our crew, first of all, and that is a great concern. There's no question about that. He hasn't had many miles in his legs in terms of game, so if he's not back down on the bench, then his night's probably done. And he started really well. He was a real thorn in their side, taking some intercept marks. It was an incredible game. 60 handballs for the GWS Giants. They averaged 39 a quarter. Game open, flying along. Collingwood had kicked 3 goals, Jason, from their defensive 50. And Tim Membry's saying, hallelujah, brother. Move the ball quick and I'll do the rest. I'll kick 12 for you.
Yeah, don't worry about connection. If the ball's moving quickly, you get a chance to lead into space, well, you're going to do okay as a forward. Mind you, the Giants are transitioning the ball pretty well as well. Trouble is they're not converting. 2 goals, 5. Their 7 scores from 19 inside 50s. I mean, all of a sudden that's 5-2. We've got a ball game on our hands. So they've just got to be a little bit better hitting targets once they go inside 50.
Yeah, so you're looking at... I'm looking straight at Jesse Hogan now. So no Darcy Moore out there. He's got Frampton, who's a willing competitor. But you've got to get on your bike. You're going to get some good looks. If the game continues in the way that it has, and Finn Callahan keeps getting the footy like he does, get on your bike, Jesse.
Callahan's had 12 and Nick Dacos has had 10. Briggs the Sklout, the jumping ruckman, is sitting on the bench. He gets himself a touch early. Side bottom gets in the way, but Toby Green ends up with it and kept the hands clear. Briggs edges forward. Not much of a kick to get after in the air. Frampton missed the spoil. Needed support underneath. Josh Dacos hangs on to make sure nothing calamitous happens.
Fascinating matchup there. Josh Dacos on Stringer at that centre bounce game.
Yeah, well, there's another one that is... Well, I think he might have handed over, Hutto, so smart man.
Darcy Cameron gets it out of the immediate area, and McCreary made it better than perhaps it was going to be. Dragged off it at the last, so Callahan doing it with him without the ball. McStay kept it going, and McCreary gives it off to Schultz. Has a look, thought about the inboard, probably did too much. Squirts it out to Membry, who's been the hot hand. Elliott's going to have plenty against him. And Thomas diffuses for the Giants.
What about that from Bo McCreary? That sums up Collingwood's mindset. Just keep charging forward.
To Whitfield, and then further along the line to Angwin. Pause for everyone. Some overlap run provided.
Josh Dacos has still got Jakey Stringer.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
He's only had the one touch, Jake Stringer. Has not looked like getting involved at this stage.
Field up against the line. Here's Hogan up to the wing. That's better from Frampton. And he might have come down to Crocker as well, but he was able to hang on to the bar. There's some vision from the rooms.
It's the Collingwood captain here. There's a grave concern at the moment.
Remember, he's got his eye in. Can't take the mark. Whitfield, long, clever hands to side bottom to Lipinski from the pocket. Doesn't even try it on. McStay and Elliott looming. Elliott's got a lot of Giants around him in the orange crush. Angwin was there. Iden gets to his feet to try and give the reason for an umpire not to pay holding the ball. Whitfield received the handball from side bottom and then to Iden and up against the line. It's a bit of a floater. Hogan got pushed underneath the ball. No whistle. Brown outnumbered. Dacos and got it quickly back from side bottom, but just as quickly as well tackled.
You love that, James.
That's the best way to get yourself into the game. It mightn't be falling your way, the ball, so put the defensive pressure on. Earn it that way.
Move it on. Dominated the opening round and has barely been seen since Jake Stringer. Kick's not a great one.
Yeah, and you can see the disappointment from Jesse Hogan. They're just not getting a competition in the air when they go with that long kick.
Chelsea Cameron finds side bottom.
Darcy Moore back up on the boundary. Just speaking to the doctors, has gone for a little run. Looks like they're trying to make a decision.
Now his fellow returner with ball in hand. Switches right on here. Frampton, Perryman.
We didn't see much of this in the first quarter, Jared. This uncontested mark game.
Against the old mob, brings it up to Crisp. Decade of dominance continues. And Nick Dacos going to pick up number 11.
So is this adjustment from the Giants, who have just started to fill some holes and work harder defensively and push back Collingwood back into this style of game that they had in the first couple of matches?
Hampton probes to the far side. Quaynor.
It's a good question, Gaz, isn't it?
Yeah. So have they still got an appetite to go, or are they just going to pick their time, maybe, be a bit more discerning?
It'll have to be a kick to a contest, although Sidebottom made sure it was decisively won. Schultz. No one's allowed to stand the mark here, so Schultz can take liberties. He's going to pump it right to the hot spot and bring McStay out. Cleared him. Fell the way of Briggs. Wanted to get it off like a hot potato. Halloran worked over. Elliott, Lipinski, inside ball. Crisp. Stepped around to tackle. Josh Dacos being hunted from behind. Had to be quick and was and long in the hole.
That connection stuff that we talked about with Craig McRae, Ruby spoke about it pre-game. They've really struggled. This is the difference. So that's good. That's a good move. Oh, no.
That does not look good.
Doesn't look like a man that's ready to go out and play full back, does it? But the connection piece, you get the ball in the hands of the right people. Josh Dacos is your man. You end up getting a shot at goal.
Still a rookie, Ned Long, but he won his place last year and he furthers Collingwood's advantage at the start of the second term.
It's another goal from a forward half turnover as well. They had possession down back, deep in defence, the Giants, but the pressure from the Pies was good, creating the turnover, and then they hit back. And it was a really clever kick, well weighted inside the attacking 50 to find Ned Long.
So a little different early, but this is just composure, isn't it? So give it the blokes that have got the best composure. Long actually hands off. No, Long marks. And goes back and kicks a goal. Just so Josh Dacos was 6 kicks, had 8 kicks inside 50 and connected with 6 of them. So that's the difference. So you get someone with just good composure, doesn't panic, doesn't blast away.
So that's coming into the season. He's been their best kick into 50.
He has, I know, and last week spent more time in the middle. So they're getting a little bit higher.
And they've really started to add to their mix in the midfield, haven't they? And he is one of them, despite being so good off half-back last year. Toby Green got the run of the footy. He ignored Angwin on the outside. He wanted to give the forwards a chance, but Perryman, the ex-Giant, was sturdy against O'Halloran. And he's kicked to Pendlebury through the middle again, looking to move it along the logo line. That's a rare misstep from Pendlebury. Whitfield, the handball was meant for Ash, but Callaghan is gathering whatever he can at the moment, and that's plenty. He's had 13 disposals, and so they eventually get to the outer side. Fonte. Angwin.
So the message has got to get out to this GWS Giants tall forwards. I mean, intercept marking here is just, It just can't happen.
Brown, who really needs to put his best foot forward if he's going to stay in this Giants team. Left that behind. Houston back to Josh Dacos. And across to Howe. Just patrolling on the last line back there, Jeremy Howe. Great to see him back.
It is. Stringer, Hogan and Brzezinski have had 3 touches between them. Yep. They've got to find a way to impact the game.
Frampton to the Dacoses. Houston. And then to Howe again. So it took a bit of time, but they got themselves clear. Asked a bit of crisp here. The kick landed in between 2 Giants, really. Whitfield. And nowhere to go for Thomas. Bought himself the necessary time, though. Ash. Oh, so casually, but effective to Callahan. And keeps racking them up. Charging off half back down the line to O'Halloran. He's got Krzyzewski there. And the lead is made, but the kick is nowhere near Stringer.
So it was a great build-up. It was a good lead from Stringer. It was the right option. It was just poor execution, which has been basically a characteristic of their game from the start. All the opportunities forward, and they just missing that final kick going inside 50.
Exasperation shown very clearly from the coach of the Giants, Adam Kingsley. As the Collingwood captain, also as a spectator for now. Cameron, all a bit disjointed. Stringer in straight into long. It was a heavy and substantial tackle and more of the same treatment. Cumulative effect is holding the ball.
Darcy Moore still sitting on the bench. The Pies camp have assured me that he's still planning to take part in this game. They haven't ruled him out, but looking at that footage, I highly doubt they'd be risking their captain, looking how sore he was in the rooms.
Scott Pendlebury placed it very wide.
They wouldn't lie to you, Ruby, would they?
You wouldn't have thought so, otherwise I'll be walking in there Monday and having words.
If Adam Kingsley's about to leave the box in frustration, as Clayton Oliver ended up knocked over in all of that. Slow to rise.
Just feeling the jaw after that.
Still there somewhere. Adam.
Houston sets the Pies through centre half forward. Ground ball in a dangerous place. Laverde did his bit. Fonte. Iden needs a target on the way out. Brown provides that. I would like him to be a target at the other end. Riccardi had to wait a little while. Runners are on the outside. Trying to milk the 50.
The runners are on the outside, Jared. They're not running from behind like they did in that first quarter. That was just full on, let's go. It's just been slowed down, and I think both sides have gone to school on what either side was doing in that first half. So it's probably been backed off by 30%.
Leap. That's real kick and hold stuff.
If Jesse Hogan's not injured, he needs a runner to get out to him and just give him the great straightener, because he's just been led to the ball way too easily.
Josh Dacos links it up with side bottom, and Collingwood have a move to move it around the far side. Lag the hand pass to Perryman against the old mob. Quainer was set up at halfway. McStay's run forward into a hole. He'll link it up. This is such a smooth move. Nick Dacos to DeGoey. One more hand pass and a kick from Schultz. Oh no, they charged it down. It was good stuff, and Schultz held it forward.
That was going to be our first highlight piece at half time, because that's Collingwood at their best. Run, carry, support, one end of the ground to the other.
Darcy Moore's back on. So they weren't lying to you, Ruby. Oliver. And now Krzyzewski has an obvious target, Jesse Hogan.
Oh, 50.
So that's better if you're a Giant.
Yeah, well, they were out everywhere, but Darcy Moore had worked his way back as the only man in defence. We better kick the goal now.
Seemed a bit uncertain.
The debutant who was on his own in the pocket.
2 goals in opening round against the Hawks, just a behind against the Dogs here a fortnight ago, and then 10 disposed. Got a little bit more of the footy last week, but just 1 goal won. 7 games last year for 10 goals all up. Krzyzewski getting it a clean run at it at the start of the season and needs to capitalise. He lost his first 2 games in AFL football, won his next 10. He's lost his last 2. And then in to convert if they're going to get a victory tonight. And with passion and purpose, he kicks the goal and takes the Giants just that little bit closer.
So we talked about Clayton Oliver, ended up on the deck. So let's have a look at this. It's Ned Long. Yeah, we'll have a look at that. We'll determine whether there's sufficient force, but I'm not sure apologising after the fact's going to help him too much.
No, he might be. Well, Interesting. Are you light in the pocket or do you miss a game for that, Gaz?
Well, that's the Greg Swan's discretion.
Usually, isn't it?
Usually, yeah. So
Yes.
Josh Dacos it was that ran just a little bit close, and they were able to get the goal. So Darcy Moore's interesting, isn't it? He's come back onto the ground.
Well, with the footage we saw down on the range, I can't wait to see him kick the footy.
Well, I hope Jesse Hogan's his opponent. So if he's got the competitor's mentality, he now has to get to work.
Steen up high again. Callaghan first access. Green, where will he go? He has to retreat. Oliver's hot, brushed his way clear. And Ash will link it up with, or didn't link it up with Callaghan initially, was pretty eager to, into a dead end and out of it. Ash will do that. Spreads out the far side. Fonte, good gather. Checks up the kick. Gothard, what's he got? Riccardi near the pockets.
Once again, it started with Lockie Ash, and when he gets the ball, he just takes off. And his running creates things. He sometimes runs into trouble, but he backs himself to get out of trouble. He evades tackles, changes direction, then all of a sudden a couple of chip kicks, they're having a shot for goal, albeit from a tough angle.
8th season in the system for Jake Riccardi, not yet at 100 games. Kicked the goal in the opening term to bring this back to single figures. If he can negotiate this kick, he won't. Leaves it at 14 points.
Josh Dacos. Due consideration for what's ahead. Cameron and Steen both in the picture. Steen did a fair bit without pulling the mark down. Schultz and Nick Dacos go to work. Goes all the way back to Josh and then on the run around Houston into Maynard. That's a good play tonight, Maynard. His 5th disposal. Straight down the middle to Cameron, and what a leap over the top with a run-up from Laverty, if you don't mind. The ex-bomber.
So he's only got one Collingwood player behind him now, Jade Laverty, so they've all pushed back hard, the Pies.
And 149 for Jaden Laverty. He's also played plenty of footy here at Marvel Stadium.
Laverty behind, that's the run that needs to go. This is, now they get 4 sideways. Had Laverty ran, he would have been kicking from in front of the centre circle.
Right, and pretty much every player on the ground was ahead of him, and it's the same situation for Lockie Ash. Tries to thread the needle, but Long was there, and they take off to Dacos. McStay is running hard back to goal with Elliott. They can work it through here. There'll be targets. Advantage paid, and there is McStay. He's gone into the pocket, but Iden, by the time it got there, and everyone kind of hesitated a bit with the advantage call. So Connor Iden, who is a stellar defender for the Giants, does what he needs to do.
It's like a 100-metre race, even that ball got turned over. There was 5 Collingwood players across half-back that just went bang. And the 2 of them were the Dacoses.
Jesse Hogan off for a spell, just the 1 possession for the game thus far. Has not looked like injecting himself into the contest.
Rux reached forward. Elliott had a mind to come spinning through. Other ideas against him.
And worse than that, Jace, he's been dominated by his opponents. Yep. And that's you're not always going to be able to find the footy, but you can't be easily beaten.
We saw some signs of his frustration last week with his teammates. He's been working on that, but he'll be probably more frustrated now.
Cameron trying to feed Schultz, and he's got support on the outside. Nick Dacos measures it all up, takes his shots. What's he done here? It's a behind to the near side. It just never quite got him out.
Kind of think everyone was expecting him to kick that in some way. Hilberg safely into play, pretty conservative though, as you saw. Laverty keeps it wide. Krzyzewski, joint spoiling, and it's Steen again. Now the young man is having quite a night.
He's interesting, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's going to be formidable for anyone in the centre bench.
The new rules, I think, will really help him. That predictability of the throw-up allows him to use his spring. Test might be around the ground.
Yeah, well, Briggs has tried to get him forward and test his aerobic capacity.
His aerobic capacity is something he's still working on. But he'll spend some time on the bench, which will help, obviously, with the 23. Just feels the game has tightened up, though. 15 points is the margin. Briggs at his feet, Oliver there to just manufacture whatever he could. Side bottom, and Gothard, and the more experienced, wins out. Dacos with a floater. Elliott read the kick off the boot. Iden is a hard match-up for anyone, but Elliott with those supreme skills. Long's looking at a second goal. And unfortunately, he can't convert.
It's a let-off for the Giants' defence. They had a 2-on-1 there. Jamie Elliott beat both of them. Laverty was supporting Iden, but Elliott good enough to beat them, get it back to Long, who had the shot for goal.
They let off for Toby Green too, who was trailing Ned Long in by about 15 metres.
The lead grows incrementally with a couple of Magpie behinds. Iden, Whitfield, Oliver's inboard, so he's going to quickly give it back to Whitfield under direction. Expansive to centre half back. Leak has runners out the far side. He directs the play to Angwin. Take the kick up the line. Briggs planted himself. They got up ahead of the ball. Contested. And Briggs duly follows through. Grishevsky's right in the middle of that. Brown arrives. He got tipped around the ear by Moore.
He covered good ground, Darcy, wanted to get to that stoppage, so he looked like he was moving okay.
Gee, Maynard played done very well there. It's just a bit of delay.
Midfield, third time in the chain. Oh, that's a poor kick. Side bottom now. Collingwood will wave run through the middle. Nick invented the kick and he missed Elliott. Iden stands against the flow. Repeat entry coming for the Giants. Brown still camped where he was. Maynard just ran enough interference and Brown overran the footy.
Floppy.
Yeah. Maynard created all of that. Now he pumps the Pies forward.
And they can work the hand pass from McStay. Just kicks it out of the air. It was really a low percentage option. Laverty and then Fonte back through the middle. Callaghan, the fulcrum there for the Whitfield run. He had Thomas way out to the left, set by hand to Oliver. And then De Green had a good look inside 50. He chooses Stringer. He can't mark. Great work from Chris back there. Stringer with brute strength and not much else. He did handball, but it was too late. Perryman, as always.
Done a good job, the Collingwood defence. From an inside 50 point of view, they've been under pressure early. They stood up really well.
Chris across to Perryman.
Outside 5.
Margin is 16.
Play on.
Side bottom.
Outside 5.
Just under 6 minutes remaining. Slowest scoring second term. Ned Long's been the highest rated player this quarter.
How often do we see helter-skelter first quarter and then the brakes get put on?
Blankets came out.
The blanket, yeah.
Ron Steele has made an impression over the first couple of weeks, kicking 3 goals. Running hard off the wing. Heller and his opponent for now. They await instruction as where to head next. Trusty's left boot. It was a bit of a nothing kick, wasn't it? Callaghan playing in front. And is duly rewarded.
So early on in this game, those kicks are going deep inside 50 because of the run and the carry and the overlap. And now it's become a bit stop-start, sort of long kicking from behind the centre. Defence is getting set up and being able to face the ball coming in. The first quarter, the defence didn't have a chance.
Leak neither had the switch nor anything short. So right to halfway, Briggs presents more. Here's the kick. Oh, that's no good. It's as bad as it looked in the rooms.
Oh, and he looks proppy.
Stringer's got runners everywhere, and the goal front unguarded. This would want to go in. I'm not sure about that as a choice.
He had some options, Jake Stringer.
Not over yet, though. Thomas! Oh, it was a big call, a non-call. No prior.
Just watching Darcy Moore after this kick, and he had this hard wobble, but he didn't come off to the ground, Jace.
Can't be a hamstring, sure.
No.
McCarty, a little tip out the back. Crisp. Handballing in hope, maybe with the voice of Lipinski. Well done, Fonte. And Callaghan and Angwin, they look to load. Oliver, where's the release going to be? Back further, shunted back. Angwin, the kick is sound enough. Now Whitfield, try the other side.
Got to find a mark inside forward 50. Hannaford's on his own.
James Leake, the young Tasmanian, lets fly into the pocket. It's going to favour Frampton. Krzyzewski does well to make the contest and the fist goes over the line.
It's not a great kick inside 50 as far as the options go.
There's been some average ones, hasn't there, for the Giants?
They are wasting some opportunities, the Giants. The funny thing is, as badly as they've been going forward, they're only 16 points down. So you're still in the contest. Collingwood aren't blowing them out of the water on the scoreboard.
And there's still 4 minutes to work with in the second quarter. Briggs' tap, well read by Josh Dacos. Been a big influence in this quarter and this match indeed. And it's back over the line and out of bounds.
Thank you.
Leek made his debut against the Pies in opening round, kicked his first goal last year in that big win, of course,
Thank you.
where the Pies cramped and everyone wrote them off for the year. Soon enough, they're on top of the ladder and with a team to beat.
Briggs planted in front. Toby underneath. Oliver has a look at the targets. Sets Riccardi for a leap at things. Maynard from the side, not for the first time. Save it. Crisp is caught there. Good one. Arm pinned. Tackle goes unrewarded. Halloran fights away. Angwin. That's going nowhere, but into the crowd.
They are defending for their life.
Yeah.
The Collingwood footy club in the back half. They just can't find a target when they do go in.
Couple of
29 inside 50s to 22.
couple of close calls there too, weren't there, for holding the ball.
Stringer laid the right tackle, pinned an arm.
Time to think about it for Jesse Hogan. Wonder if we'll see him again this half. No shortage of flyers out there. Green in the thick of it. Tapped away cleverly by Elliott, but it's all Giants. Leak to Callahan. Here they go again. Rashevsky. Quainer. Split the contest in the air. Howe had the reinforcements. Or Frampton, did he dispose of that? It's through for a behind. Oh, another close call.
Fair bounty on a goal before half-time either way. Josh Dacos comes trundling in. Disposal number 18. Quaynor, just about wrong-footed himself. Had time to recover and bring it down the line. Briggs out points Steve.
Put it on. Play on.
To the middle, Laverty. Now Ash has made some width out on the near side. Iden just had a devil of a time finding it. Laverty, they'll just want a spare target to avoid a few blushes here, and Leak proves to be that.
Put it on. Play on.
What's the mode here? To a contest of 5. O'Halloran in the middle of it. Probably should have marked. Fights on underneath under enormous pressure. Angwin kept them going. Riccardi lending a hand. O'Halloran again, and up to Oliver. Just desperately trying to nut the way out here. Brown's got 2 against him, which meant there was one over the back. It never arrived. Moore got stuck with the parcel. Umpire took pity.
Another opportunity goes begging. Gruchevsky had the crumb right there and hit him in the leg and kicked away. He just can't believe it, Adam Kingsley.
And you can't blame it. His frustration's clearly evident. Can they find a way of getting ball to boot? Not immediately. Steele receiving from Pendlebury. He's hacked it.
So they're doing a lot of things right, the Giants, other than hitting the scoreboard. So that's what's frustrating Adam Kingsley as coach. The execution in that forward 50.
Falls to Leak again. So 4 more insides for the quarter. Trying to find a mark somewhere. It wasn't completed by the Pies either with Quainer. Lovely spin. It's Stringer time. It was overdue, the package.
It was. I mean, between Stringer and Hogan and Riccardi, they've virtually had no output in this game thus far. We're nearly at half-time. So finally, Jake Stringer picks up the crumb. He's able to kick a goal. You see him there, he leads, but then he gets himself front and square of the contest. He tracks the footy and just rips it away from Josh Dacos, who's beaten him in this first half at a number of possessions and swept away from half-back. But this time, it's a win for Stringer and an important goal for the Giants, and gets them right back in the contest.
Harvey Norman replay. Jake Stringer getting close to a milestone too.
399 career goals. 32 inside 50s for 4 majors. Just a bit of instruction as he sits out the final phase of the half. And the Giants turn that into something. Cameron just ripped it out of the ruck. Pies get to the 50. McCreary saw it land. Elliott tried to open things up. Leak shut it down. Put it around to Ash, and Callahan searching. Has the short to Cornelio. It's made a pretty bold start to an important year. And what remains for the Giants veteran.
So he's had to go across because Darcy Cameron is standing up the line on his own. He couldn't go long up the line. They don't want to take any risks, the Giants. They know how much time is left on the clock.
Himmelberg's the link player. They really could chance their arm from here now. O'Halloran. Bites off what's up the line. Riccardi. Whitfield, he can break the lines. Has a dash to half forward. Sets it particularly wide. No Mark Brown underneath. Fiddled around to Gothard, took them all on and paid the price. And they will not claim the advantage.
Well, it was a good kick from Whitfield for Jesse Hogan, just unable to take the mark.
Life's not getting any better for him at the moment, is it, Jesse?
And his humour's not getting any better either.
Kicked a couple of goals last week. First goal of the game, and then what turned out to be the last goal as they came close to stealing it against the Saints. We're going to be behind again here at half-time. By how much? McCreary against the clock and against young Leake. He gets his way through. He's going to have to travel 60 metres quickly, and not that quickly. Frustration for the Pies with the Giants sitting back hard. They kicked the last couple of goals of the quarter. And the margin, Jason Dunstall, is 9 points at half-time.
Yeah, it's felt like Collingwood's had control, but when you look at the numbers, the Giants have gone forward so many times, they've just been unable to hit the target going in. And a late let-off there. Jamie Elliott gave a great lead to Bo McCreary. A little chip, he would have got it in before the siren went, but he decided to go long. The clock went. We're going to keep our eyes on that man there, Darcy Moore. We don't know what the injury is, but it looks dodgy when he has to kick the footy. So much still to play out in this second half. 4 points on the line, both teams right in it.
There's a big contrast, wasn't it, between quarter one and quarter two. And so it'll be interesting to see the assessment of both coaches with the longer break. Adam Kingsley and Jesse Hogan just both need to calm down a little.
He'll feel frustrated, Adam Kingsley, but he's got a lot to work with.
Yep.
Because they are doing a lot right and they're creating opportunities. They're winning a lot of the footy.
Let's get down to Ruby.
Finn, fast-paced game to start off. How's it feel out there?
Yeah, certainly quick. I felt like we had our opportunities there in that half. Just not quite scoring, but it looks like a Giants game. It feels like it, so we're just going to keep it going for another half.
Looks like you guys have brought a real emphasis to get the ball moving by hands and use pace. Is that what you guys wanted to do coming into this game?
Yeah, exactly right. Just try to play our way. If the options are there, move the ball quickly. Give our forwards a good look.
Key forwards just struggling to get involved for you guys at the moment. How do you get them involved in this game?
I think just keep encouraging them. You know, Jesse and like some of the best forwards in the competition, and their moment's going to come. So it's up to us to keep giving them good looks. So I'm sure they'll kick a few goals in the second half.
Good luck for the second half.
Thanks, Ruby.
He's carrying a big midfield load. He's doing it well. 20 disposals for Finn Callaghan. They're right in this, the Giants. Well, another huge weekend of sport, not just the footy, of course. Our fingers are well and truly crossed for Oscar come Sunday in Japan.
All right, folks, well, we're just waiting for the commentators to come back, give it a bit of an analysis on the opening half. It's the Magpies still leading 6-3, 39 to the Giants, 4-6, 30. That's right, 10 scoring shots to 9. Hey, Lauren, how you doing? Welcome in, Dale. That's it. I tell you what, this is a tight old game. It's anyone's game. Look, I'll probably give the points to the Giants in that second term. They kicked 2 goals, 1 to 1 goal, 2, 3 scoring shots apiece. It was like a bit of a chess game. Now, that opening term, I tell you what, both teams moved the ball on as quick as they possibly could. But in that second part, they just slowed the play down a little bit. Giants were doing a little bit better finding their targets. Slowed down, just chipped it. And the Magpies were sort of under a lot more pressure, having to defend a lot more in that second term. Of course, the Magpies, they weren't giving their forwards as good a look as they did in the opening term. But the Giants just missed a couple throughout that opening half, which could have possibly been putting them in front in this game. So, look, it's a 50-50 game. Who's going to do this one? Looking at the poll, got a lot of Magpie supporters in here, including me. 88% have gone for the Magpies to win this game. I hope you're all right. Hey, just before we have a look at the teams, the player stats, if the game stays where it is now, the live ladder, Collingwood will jump up into 5th position in the top 6. Go Pies! And of course, the Giants be still down there in 14th. That's if it stays this way. If it doesn't, the Magpies will be down there in the 6th to 10th or somewhere around there. But that's the live ladder. I thought I'd show that for all you Collingwood supporters out there. Of course, you're right. The the Cats, they just had a small margin win over Adelaide last night. That was a cracking game. Tell you what, the Cats doing well. All right, let's have a look at the goal scorers. Only a couple of goals or so put on in that second term. Still leading the way, Tim Membry, and the only multiple goal scorer out on the ground so far. With 3 goals, he didn't add to his tally in that second half. Hopefully in the third and final quarter he will. Lockie Schultz, Daniel McStay, Ned Long, all the singles for the Maggies. And of course for the Giants, Jake Riccardi, Gwinski, Gothard, and of course Jake the Package Stringer comes in there with a goal for them as well. Looking at the ball magnets, Lockie Whitfield, Finn Callahan, both for the Giants. They're both leading the way on 20 disposals. The only 2 players out on the ground that have hit 20 disposals in this game so far up until half-time. So having big numbers there. Lockie Whitfield, though, 11 kicks, 9 handballs, 6 marks, 2 tackles. Finn Callahan, 20 disposals, 7 kicks, 13 handballs, 4 marks, a tackle, and a clearance, doing well. Of course, Lauren, the little superstar, Nick Dacos, tell you what, he's working hard. He's working hard. He ran out of puff, I think, a couple of times in that quarter, but he's certainly given it his best shot again tonight. 19 touches and the best for the Maggies. Third best overall, 10 kicks, 9 handballs, 2 marks, a tackle, 2 clearances, and a behind. Nearly kicked an absolute miraculous goal like his father Peter did from the boundary on his left foot, just skimmed the post, unfortunately through for behind. Clayton Oliver having a cracking game on 18. We'll come back to the rest of the player stats and that in just a moment. We'll just head back down to the commentators.
Industry Super Funds, half-time, 14 points of margin in favour of Collingwood at quarter-time, 9 points at half-time. Oh, take a deep breath, Tommy Hawkins and Jordan Lewis. It was hot early.
Yeah, it was helter-skelter, wasn't it, Gaz? Hard to keep up. Not much pressure applied throughout the first half. It was very much up and back.
Well, they put it on the table pre-game, didn't they? They said, we're going to take risks and going to try and bring the ball back through the corridor. I think early on what Collingwood did is they pressed up high, which allowed the Giants to actually use some transition space through the middle of the ground. Then I think in the second quarter, both sides pulled back their defence, so it became a little bit more kick mark, build the ball up a bit slower in the second term.
Coaches don't like ball movement like we saw in that first quarter. Harvey Norman highlights, but I'll tell you who does, is Tim Membry playing in the front half. So you talked to Tim Membry, Tommy Hawkins about last week and this week. He's sitting back licking his lips because this thing was just going quick and they weren't going back over the mark for anyone. And in the end, Pendlebury gets the first kick inside 50. He doesn't look anything short. Just says, we'll take the one-on-one. No Jack Buckley, no Sam Taylor. We'll back our boys one out.
No worries. I've just loved his work rate. So he's both got the ball up the ground and deep inside forward 50. I tell you what, Gaz, it helps when you've got the likes of Dacos, Pendlebury kicking the ball in. And that man there, Jamie Elliott, could easily have kicked 2 or 3 himself. I thought as that deeper target, he has been outstanding.
But have a look at these looks, Geordie, coming inside. I mean, there's so much space because they just refuse to go backwards, both sides.
And I think in terms of their kicks, it was in a direct line to goal. So, last week we saw Collingwood go long and wide, and then to be able to rove around those particular contests, it's pretty hard. But if you're in a direct line to goal, you can go 360 around. It opens up the ground, and it certainly opens up the other side of the 50, which we saw that kick from Pendlebury in the first one.
Yeah, and we'll have a look at the Giants in a moment as well, because they were no slouches at all. So that was an inside 50 kick from Josh Dacos. We talked about the need to get it into your best kickers so the connection gets there. This is the efficiency from a Collingwood point of view. So 25% goals per inside 50. The Giants, on the other hand, had all the looks in that first quarter but couldn't convert on the scoreboard.
Yeah, they did. What we noticed upstairs from our vantage point was the Giants are taking the ball into some really challenging spots to actually kick goals. So they're being more efficient, Collingwood, because they've been getting better positioning.
Yeah, well, so, I mean, the handball receives from the GWS Giants in that first quarter, I think it was around 60. So they averaged 39 a game, Geordie. So it was so obvious that they were going to go. Points from the back 50 for Collingwood. That stacks up. 3 goals from defence 50. We're not surprised there. But Finn Callahan was the one. The give and gets from Callahan. Just get it back to him, and away they went.
So this was a feature clearly in the first quarter. But that inside 50 kick, so that's on the back of, I think, Collingwood's ability to press forward and pressure the ball carrier, which meant... So I think they read it really well. Yep, they allowed the Giants to handball through them in the first quarter, and they got really good looks. They were run and carry type of players. allowed them to catch up and then be in a really good defensive position. But it gave them good looks going forward, albeit that their connection inside forward 50, I think they could have made better decisions with ball in hand.
Yeah, so have a look at this. This from the GWS Giants, and then things change in that second quarter. It tends to happen. So often you go and watch a game of footy and it is all on. Then the coaches get their hands on them at quarter time and they set up more defensive positional play, and you can't get the ball moving like they did. Just on the Giants, Jesse Hogan's the biggest issue for them right now when they go forward. We talked about the fact they can't cash in. So it was Darcy Moore initially, and then it was Billy Frampton taking uncontested marks. So I'm not sure where he's at, Jesse.
He looks down on confidence, yeah. Well, I mean, you can see out here he's arguing with teammates, which is not the Jesse when he's up and going. He's more positive, but he certainly needs to try and work himself into the game.
What about the debutant? So Craig McRae, fantastic. Said we're going to start both ruckmen on the ground, and he's going to have the first tap and right down the throat to the best player in the competition, if you don't mind.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. Just the way that he's given his midfielders first look, particularly in that CB area. We're getting some nice work behind the ball as well, but he's had not a lot of the football himself, and nor do you expect a young ruckman to influence the game by possession, but he's just done some really nice things around the ground.
I think the smart players, Nick Dacos and that, are going to have a lot of time with Oscar Steen in the coming weeks. Finn Callaghan, we asked for him early before the game that he had to be the one that stepped up in the absence of their elite midfielders, and he just looked like he had that hungry appetite. He doesn't have to have his nose in the trough. He needs to get on the outside and run and carry and get meters gained, and he did that from the opening bounce. I thought he was superb in that first half.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he's one of those players that just tracks the ball and gets used on a lot of occasions. It looks like they're in trouble. Some of these particular players where there's Collingwood players swarming around, but it's just the ability to follow up, use his voice, get involved, make really good decisions going forward. He's had a huge say in the first half, but particularly the first quarter. I just think he makes really good decisions, even this one, to turn and go and allow the ball to maintain a little bit of speed and keep the ball in motion.
So important. So Oliver got his hands on the lot, and then the 1-2 for Callaghan through the course of the game. So he's been a really highly rated player. He can get forward now and hit the scoreboard once or twice. That'll be icing on the cake. But this style of game that the GWS Giants came out to play suited him down to a T. So 9 points of margin at half time. We've got a game on our hands. Johnny Ralph joins us. Fascinating watch. Darcy Moore, Ralphie, I'm sure you had your eyes all over him. A couple of times he kicked the ball. We watched him pull up tight. Pitches from down the rooms didn't look great, but he came back out.
What a strange set of circumstances for Darcy Moore. Here is him kicking. He's visibly grimacing. He can't even straighten his leg there. So he goes down into the rooms and conducts what I would assume is the dodgiest fitness test we've ever seen, Gaz. And yet he comes back out there and he's running unimpeded. Now look at this here, really struggling to kick the ball. Now we assume that this was a hamstring. All I would say is that Collingwood says he's done 4 weeks of training. Whether it's a little hip flexor, they're not risking him if this is anything near a calf or a hamstring. So they say that he's fully fit, but it does seem like, Tom, your early suspicions here, the eye test feels like he's really popping.
Yeah, he does. Look, and that puts pressure on his other mate, Jeremy Howe, down there. So Jeremy's been playing deep and he'll play more time on ground. Geordie, you alluded to it at the start of the night. It doesn't allow them to play him on high bench time as a part of their rotation, but it's a risk you run, and these guys that get over 30 years of age that are powerful, that rely on leg speed, that put a lot of force through their body, that there is always risk when you bring them back without a run under their belt.
What about Ned Long on Clayton Oliver? Is there a risk there?
Yeah,
usually
no doubt about
these
that.
are going to be cited.
Yeah, the fact that Clayton Oliver went down so quickly as well, it didn't seem to be a forceful blow, but I think it gives Michael Christian the capacity to have it as a 1 week. It's right in between, so it's not the crackdown like Harry Schoenberg and Jonty Fall have had for those stomach punches, but it just feels like the MRO is in that mood to just get rid of the nonsense. So if Michael Christian can say fine or suspension, where are you landing?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think he got him in the head and Oliver went down. I don't think it really matters about the force, does it? I think those types of things that we don't necessarily want to see in the game, they've made that obvious, the AFL.
The stupidity, you get a week for it. Who's winning? Quick, down the line.
GWS.
GWS. I'll go the Pies.
Righto, 9 points. I'll go Pies too. 9 points of margin in favour of Collingwood. Hey, if you're a fan of Tim Zoo, main event, Easter Sunday.
Same old.
All right, there we go. A little bit of a wrap-up there from the commentators, both 50-50, who they think's going to win this game. All right, let's get back to some of the player stats, folks, because we're only a few minutes out from the bounce of the ball for the second half. We got down to Clayton Oliver. As I said, he's having a pretty good game out there this evening for the Giants. 18 touches, 9 and 9 he's had, a couple of marks, 4 clearances, and a behind. Josh Dacos, of course, the Dacos brothers, 1-2 for the Maggies, 18 touches, 10 kicks, 8 handballs, 3 marks, 3 tackles for him. Lockie Ash and Ryan Angwin are both 15 there for the Giants. Cooper Blakeby, how you doing? How you doing, Squire? Still side bottom on 14 for the Maggies. Quainer 12, Cripps 12. And let's just roll on down a little bit there. Jake Riccardi for the Giants on 11 with Leake and Toby Green. Toby Green's been a little bit quiet in this match so far, as has the key forwards there for the Giants. So probably, there's some positives there for the Giants so far, only trailing by 9 points up until half time. They've still got a few star players there that can come into this game and cause havoc. We'll just have to wait and see. There we go. Dan Houston on 9 there for the Maggies. Scotty Pendlebury, he's also been a little bit quiet for the Maggies. The master out there, he's just had the 9 touches, 4 kicks, 5 handballs. He's had a couple of clearances for him. Darcy Cameron on 8. Harry Perryman just on the 7 touches. Membry, as I said, 7 with the 3 goals. As has Maynard, Jeremy Howe. There we go. Harry Himmelberg, Goddard Caniglio all on 7 touches as well for the Giants. Just going down a little bit more just for those Maggies. Jordan Nagoe, just the 6 touches. Been well held. Nothing much going his way at the moment. Of course, Darcy Moore was still out on the ground at half time. I don't know what type of leg issue he's got there. They did think it was going to be a hamstring the way he grabbed at it, but he's been a bit proppy, but still been out on the ground. So we'll see how much more game time he gets in the second half. Hopefully he's all right. It's just a bit of stiffness. We can only hope. 5 touches for him, 4 kicks, a handball, and 4 marks for him. Daniel McStade, just a 5. Lipinski quiet also, just a 5 touches. And, of course, we go down a couple of the spearheads for either side. Jamie Elliott for the Maggies, just the 2 disposals, 2 handballs, and, of course, Jesse Hogan. There we go. 1 disposal, 1 kick, no score. Tell you what, there we go. The Pies certainly need to look out for him because he is yet to warm up. I tell you what, he could get on the go as well. Same with Jake the Packy Stringer. He's only had the 5 touches, doing a bit of work around the ground. 3 kicks, 2 handballs. He's kicked a sausage roll, 3 tackles for him as well. Just have a quick look. A quick look at the team stats. Want to have a look at the disposal count. That's the Giants there, plus 22. The kicking, the Giants plus 7 there, 120, 113. Handballs, they're plus 14. Looking at the inside 50s, there we go. The Giants doing well to hold the Maggies to only 24 inside 50s up until half time for their 9 scoring shots. The Giants been inside 33 times. They're plus 9 there for their 10 scoring shots. They're doing really well. Disposal efficiency, that's pretty high for the Giants, going up at 80%. Magpies just above season average. Free kicks, well, not much happening there for the Giants. It's the Magpies, 9 free kicks to 3 up until half time. Tell you what, we've seen this in recent games where not many free kicks have been given up until half time, but the umpires certainly find their whistle after that. Hit outs, it's the Magpies by 3. Clearances, Magpies by 2, but as we can see while we're watching this game, it's the Giants doing the work out of the centre clearances, doubling the Magpies 8-4. They're plus 4 in the centre. The Magpies around the ground doing a little bit better in the clearances there, 10-4. Looking at the contested possessions, all pretty even there, 60-55. It's just plus 5 to the Maggies. The uncontested ball in hand, just controlling it a little bit more in the second term. The Giants 162, 127. Plus around about 35 there. There we go. Looking at the marks, not a great deal in that, just about 59 to 68. As I said, both teams are just struggling to find after quarter time the marks inside their targets, inside forward 50. 5-4, the Magpies are plus 1 there. And just want to have a look at the tackle count. When they were saying not much pressure being put on in this game, they're pretty right. Look at this tackle count, 22 to 19. You don't get much lower than that. These teams, they really need to put the pressure on. Of course, it was pretty hard to put the pressure on, especially in that opening term when the speed was right on. But the second term, the Giants were actually putting the Magpies under pressure with a bit of their play. But there we go. Both teams need to find that. Tackles inside 50. So the Giants have had 9-4 plus 5 there. Half their tackle count has been inside their 50. There we go. Interesting stat. That is the stats up until half time. The team stats, the player stats. We're going to head back down to the ground where it's all the action is happening. We're only just a few seconds away, 20-odd seconds away before the bounce of the ball for the second half here. I tell you what, come on, Pies. That's who most of us are going for here. And I hope we get this one right tonight. Let's head back down to the ground where it's the Pies by 9 points.
For the Giants, that's a fantastic starting point. Collingwood have been no slouches themselves. They've had 8, but their ability to turn them into scores is a thing that just has them behind fractionally. They take great comfort from the fact that they've been able to turn it over in their front half.
But I reckon their lack of connection going forward, the Giants, it's a combination of two things. It's the kick going in, which hasn't been great. Often it's just been a long bomb. But I don't think the forwards are separating and offering enough options, enough leads. Hawthorn coach Sam Mitchell.
Chris Fagan in the front.
Chris Fagan there.
Everyone's here to watch the big game. No, Jesse Hogan's a big watch for me in this second half. So he's got Frampton as an opponent. He was led to the ball constantly. You can turn it around. You got to put your stake in the ground and make a decision.
We have to find out what the third quarter is going to deliver. The rucks looked a little ungainly, going up and down, but Steve followed up nicely. His kick disrupted, as you can see, significantly. And the Giants through Thomas, and then Whitfield have got more and more into the game as that second quarter progressed. And Callaghan, the leading disposal winner on the ground. His 21st to half forward. Hogan is outpointed again, but Frampton didn't mark. Dacos caught in the crush.
A little bit going on there, Gaz, between Frampton and Hogan.
I don't care how he makes a decision to get involved in the game. He just needs to get involved in the game. Frampton's been very good.
Nick Dacos at the source. Found the way on the inside. Houston lost the handle on the footy. Gothard dragged off and it opened the way for Thomas. Links it up with O'Halloran. On to Toby, searching for his first. Or did he squeeze it in?
I think he missed.
He got it there. Beat the lunge of the opposition captain as well.
Forward half turnover again here from a Giants point of view. So
I want to see this attempted rush, Gaz, because it looked like he was in position to touch it, but as he had an air swing.
Yeah, it just looked like Darcy Moore missed. He didn't get the sort of purchase on him that he wanted.
This will be a great angle. No, and if he misses it, it would have been a horrid miss. Some good slick hand passes, as you said, from the forward half turnover.
Yeah, maybe come on him a bit quicker than we thought. But it's a good start for the Giants. Close the gap to 3 points. And they won it from a turnover in their front half. It was Dan Houston who had control of the footy. He was out and gone. And it just bobbled out of his hands and slips past. This is a matchup we're keeping an eye on.
What a fine margin. And so it's back to 3 now. In the middle. Gets away from Green initially. Schultz up off the line to meet it to Dacos. Lipinski. Back to Nick. To go. Order is restored for the Pies. Clinical out of the middle. And Dacos is the finisher this time.
Class carries you a long way, doesn't it? And who do you want with the ball in their hands? Nick Dacos. He makes the decision. He's got a metre space. And he knows he can see the goals. He can avoid the man that's coming to smother. He takes the responsibility and he gives them the quick response. Absolutely perfect answer.
Yeah, they kicked 2 goals from centre bounce, so they'll take that all day long. So it's the big boy just jumping over the top.
Can I just go back to that Darcy Moore smother? Is it feasible that he didn't have the power in that right leg to spring up and get to the ball?
You could make anything feasible. You could. They have had issues with getting first hands on it in the middle, the Giants, and converting it to a clearance, and they were first at it again, but they just got overwhelmed, and Nick Dacos did what he's been doing all his career.
First Toby and then Nick Steen. What a first impression he's made. To go, he fed this time. Beautiful kick and great body work by Schultz.
Well, if he kicks this, it's 3 goals from centre bounce. And that man, Oscar Steen, in his first game, He's having a massive say in proceedings here.
So the change of rules has brought different ruckmen into the game. If you can jump and tap it like that, all of a sudden you become a valuable player.
I tell you the really interesting thing, Jace, was the Adelaide v Collingwood game. It was McAndrew who got 9 hit-outs to advantage to Darcy Cameron's 3. He's 211 centimetres. It may have just opened their mind to Oscar Steen.
Lachie Schultz, second year as a player, was better than his first, and it's a bold start to his third. Searching for his second of the night, didn't quite have the juice. Oh, it's been marked in the square by Oscar Steen.
He's going to win an Oscar the way he's going, Jared. He's doing it all. He's getting pure hand on the ball at centre bounce. He defended, as Jason said, beautifully at one end of the ground. And now he's thinking, oh, I've got everything else covered. I might have a crack at the front half.
You reckon the Pies fans aren't enjoying this young man's debut?
10 metres, guys. Boys, right out, please.
A 4-year wait, and he has been in a rush tonight.
They are going to swamp him too.
Oscar Steen for his first AFL goal. The hero we didn't know we needed. The poster boy for jumping ruckman.
There's nothing more exciting in this game than watching a player kick his first goal in league football, and his teammates, all 17 of them out on the ground. They swarm, they come and they make a fuss. The proud parents, everyone's enjoying this. But this young man is having a debut to remember.
He is, and it is just a sign of the changing look at what we're seeing at centre bounce. That's a great contested mark.
So he's waited 4 years for this, Gaz. Does he get the opportunity because of the rule change? Is that what's facilitated
I go back to McAndrew from Adelaide, who played against Collingwood Jace at the MCG against Darcy Cameron, who's been one of the elite ruckmen in the game, and beat him and got hands on the ball at centre bounce. He's 211 centimetres, McAndrew.
And right now, Kieran Briggs is the man with the problem. What does he do?
So here's the family, and they're beside themselves. They can't believe it.
Kylie and Mark, his parents, Charlotte, his sister.
Unbridled joy there. Footy does bring. Dacos creates much of it to De Goey. The Pies are in a hurry at the start of this third quarter, as they were at the start of the game. Eighton on duty. Brown, over the top. They let playing to Dacos again, feeding De Goey. Some of their stars are certainly rising. Steele pulls the kick back for Elliott with the fly. Fonte sees to him, for now at least. Midfield, Schultz with that renowned pressure. Ash tried to find a little passage through. It was barely there. Got it to Wang when he runs headlong into De Goey. It was a big roadblock. The Collingwood fans think it deserved a free. Yes, they do.
The whole joint's been energised by this debutant, I'm telling you.
He got his own clearance that time.
Well, they're up. The crowd are going nuts, and the Collingwood boys look like they're energised by it as well.
Tap back out. Ends with Oliver. And then to Brown. Oliver again and Brown. So they're all getting involved in this Giant-style handball. Angram's kick is sharp. Mark taken by Riccardi. Hogan is the deepest forward. They've got to get through Stringer first. Halloran will lead up. Gothard, they all filter forward. But it comes down to Hogan versus Houston and Sideball.
Well, he had Houston as an opponent, Hogan. He thought he was going to outmark him instead of getting on his bike and hitting up on the lead.
It's a familiar theme. Everything but the mark inside 50 for the Giants. McCreary, as Collingwood are really testing the visitors now. Medbury the target. The numbers are with the Giants though. Fonte, that'll be a mark inside 50. It's a shallow entry though. O'Halloran, will he go for Hogan in the pocket or Brown at the top of the square?
Back 1 metre towards me still.
Their ball movement prior to that was superb. It was everything they want. They ran it from one end of the ground to the other. They shared it, and they just got let down in the last play. They've got to find a winner deep here, the Giants.
So Briggs is smart here. He's sitting 15 metres out from goal saying, just drop the ball in here because Steen's gone to the goal line. But I don't think Halloran's on the same wavelength.
Had a shot that came up a yard short previously. Softens the kick. Are they on the same page? Briggs couldn't handle the ball around the laces.
That was really good apart from the execution. It was really well worked out. Just needed a little bit more weight on the kick. And Briggs marks that. That was smart play.
I'm glad he didn't have a shot, because he'd had a shot previously and come up 10 metres short.
And Steen would have marked it on the line.
Dacos defending this time through Maynard. Josh Dacos to side bottom. Got to the extremity of the boundary. Whitfield comes with a withering run. The handball through Green. Thomas can't quite get clear yet. He hacks and hopes, and it's a mark paid to Briggs.
Well, he's trying to push forward. He's trying to get dangerous, and maybe he can get back at Steen this way, because he was devastated when Steen took that big contested mark in the goal square, kicked the goal for the Pies, started them up and running with a tap and a clearance in this quarter. Now Briggs gets a chance to fight back.
Well, this is the response you want, Jace. You don't want the ruckman just to sit there and take it. So some character here from Briggs, and if he kicks this, he might just get up in the grill of the youngster.
He is representative of the old guard, Kieran Briggs. Could be under threat within and without. And kicks like that won't help his cause.
He's not getting up in the grill after that kick, Jace.
So it becomes a 14-point lead. Houston surveyed the terrain and did so again after the bounce. Not his best kick. Fonte stood in the middle. Giants can rebuild here on the insides. Canelio. Ash was over the top. It's more expansive than that on the switch. Leak came up to meet it.
Hogan's off the ground again, so I wonder whether there's something wrong with him.
Cup hand pass to Himmelberg. He's searching for Riccardi. Just eased off more.
Well, that's what hasn't been there all day. They haven't had a forward that's been prepared to body up or win a one-on-one, or even at times halve a one-on-one. So you'll take this all day long.
Interesting too that he didn't have the strength to hold his spot in that contest. So it's just a fascinating watch, Darcy Moore.
1 goal, 1 tonight, Jake Riccardi. His team needs it. Collingwood have thrown the challenge down at the start of the third term. And that's not getting it done either.
They're kicking horribly.
There's a night of lament ahead if this continues on a set path.
Houston keeps it short and tight into Josh Dacos. He moves into the 20s. With that right foot kick down the line to Membry. Himmelberg had prime position. No whistle either way. Membry draws a crowd.
But that's the sort of contest you want from a big forward. So Himmelberg had it first. Membry really committed in the air. Halves the contest, get a stoppage.
Elliott is the deepest forward if Collingwood go their way. Instead it went the Giants initially. Rowan Steele though, nifty working tight to Dacos and through Pendlebury back to Steele, looking more and more comfortable. Oh, the handball set up Cameron, and Canelio stops Dacos initially. That's only initially though. He goes into square it again, puts the tackle on, appeals for the free, but that's turned down. There's the new Collingwood hero.
Old hero.
Bit of a rub on the knee. So there's look, and maybe Darcy Moore just got beaten on his merits. We don't know, but it's an interesting one.
To Goey. Engelman was ready for it. Clever from Oliver. The hands were sharp. Set up Ash. He's going to switch. Just enough depth on the kick for Thomas.
Got to go. He's out.
And he's able to recognise Hannaford down the line. Can they play a bit of checkers and get all the way there? Grishevsky to the inside. Callaghan desperate for the footy. Fonte there as well. All ignored. Stringer, by the time he kicked it, you could see it was partially smothered. Clever hands from Thomas. Back to Grishevsky. Brown has to mark and does.
So good decision. His first kick was horrible, Grishevsky, but then he didn't blaze away. He didn't panic. He just chipped it. He found Brown, gives him a good chance to kick the goal. Looks like he's going to go left foot round the corner.
Had no confidence that he was going to get the second one right, Jace, but he did. He showed some beautiful composure. Hogan back on, so nothing wrong with him.
They've got to start converting, the Giants.
It's got to start now. Brown just the 1 goal so far this year. And that one doesn't quite hit the mark either.
He's got to pay his way, doesn't he? And goals are the best way to do that. Josh Dacos picks out Houston. De Goey's the target up the line. Canelio's holding him by the hands. So De Goey lets the field set up, lags the footy to Houston. Quaynor thinks the switch is on over on the near side. Josh Dacos has a look. Maynard first. And Quaynor is very viable as the next link in the chain. Giants bring their numbers across the field to defend. To a contest. Cameron stands in the middle of it. Elliott has a fly. Off hands. Long underneath. Creative hand pass. Lipinski left it behind. Fonte confronted. Got it away. Hannaford got bowled over by Elliott, who then got stopped in his tracks by Laverde.
So inside 50s at 39-29. The last 5 inside 50s for the Giants. A little bit of a continuing pattern here. Just ended up in a 2-point tally. So there are lots of looks going forward, the Giants. They just can't make it pay.
Hasn't been too many easy shots they've missed, though, is it?
No, but they have had territory.
Yep, certainly have. Green hopeful with the handball. Hannaford is infringed by Chris, but can't believe it.
It's interesting to see Jesse Hogan having a little run in the ruck. Maybe that'll get him involved in the game a bit.
Young Bendigo boy, and then he's at the border in Ballarat. Got his chance through Vic Country. Ollie Hannaford on debut for the Giants.
Bounce you.
Himmelberg bouncing his way out of defence and then hesitating. Where to next? Major detour. Callahan hiding behind the umpire. It's a good little spot.
It's not as go forward as it was, and this is credit to Collingwood, who have just become much more diligent in setting up, particularly through the middle of the ground.
Cardi, he gave Elliott just a glimpse. Fonte strong enough. Iden demanding it is the captain Green. He's got Hannaford if he chooses further afield. Demanding into the pocket with Stringer, and he gets for Krzyzewski instead, and that gave time for Frampton to waltz across and do what defenders do best.
And the skipper, Toby Green, got a little bit of a pay from Stephen Cornelia, who led straight at him, was a perfect option. He just ignored him and went deep to the pocket.
And Hogan, he's lost a bit of faith in Hogan, who was on a good lead too.
McCarty has to try to square the ruck against Cameron. He doesn't. Nick Dacos got clipped high. And he is keen to go. McCreary in centre field, and there's all manner of possibilities. Run on the dash of McCreary. He drew a defender. He's made Schultz wait a little while. They've still got side-bottom wall on his own in the square. Oh, it just wouldn't sit. You would barely believe that sequence of events. It was a certain goal.
That's one of the great butcherings of an inside 50 of all time.
I got a problem with allowing Nick Dacos to play on there. He put the hand up and said stop. The umpire blew time, but never moved him back behind the mark, and then he made the decision to play on. You shouldn't be able to do that.
Suspect it was an error, Jace. Good to see you fired up on a Friday night. Free kick, and there is the advantage taken quickly by Callahan. He's just chased that. Oh, downfield.
So Finn Callahan got upended after he kicked it. So they played it downfield, which is going to give Collingwood a chance now to go and set up behind the ball. Scott Pendlebury went up the race, by the way, boys, about 5 minutes ago. He hasn't reappeared as yet. So keep a close eye on that. Ruby will be all over it. So 6 inside 50s for 2-point return for the GWS Giants. They've got to find a system. Collingwood defence, very hard to score against.
Krzyzewski to Fonte and then to Angwin.
3 metres! 3 metres! Stand.
Ryan Angwin for the Giants. Trying to avoid going 3 losses in a row. Injury hit. Huge round 3 clash on Friday night against the Pies, who are well stocked for defenders. Markle free kick.
That's not working from that kick. No. That has not worked anywhere tonight.
Well, he kicked the ball well, Darcy Moore, but he still pulled up properly after kicking it.
He did indeed. Crisp and Josh Dacos.
It can't be a hammy. They just wouldn't have him out there.
Correct.
So they clearly think he can play through it. So maybe we should stop worrying about him.
Sidebottom presents. He does have company, but does he have the skills for it? Number 2 all-time for the Pies. Just in the shadow of Scott Pendlebury in the chase for the games records. Oh, it's just wrong-footed the debutants. That's the old and the young right there. Membry's his target. Hot start. Hasn't been sighted since. Lipinski, Membry didn't really have support where he was searching for it. Giants a chance. Hannaford waited, got bowled over. McCreary, Quaynor. Collingwood will enter. Maybe too strong for the first targets and the second. Iden, gave it up. And Nick Dacos, you can't give him that sort of look. 2 in the term. Defensive calamity for the Giants. And they slip that bit further behind.
Nick Dacos is ripping this game to shreds. He is absolutely ripping it to shreds in this third quarter. He's had 7 possessions already. He's had 3 clearances. He's whacked it inside 50, 2 score involvements. He is a phenomenal footballer. And this is an opportunity right now as Darcy Moore sits for him to rest forward, which I love. So he's kicked the goal. He goes and sits inside forward 50 now and becomes an enormous issue.
And it was Iden was the man on him, and he's the one that makes the horror mistake. Just a hand pass that misses the target. And Poetic Justice says it's the man that you were guarding that gets on the end of it.
The 2 goals for the quarter and just putting a gap between the Pies. And I love this. I love the fact that he now goes to the goal square.
After the ruck contest, a clean break from McCreary, but he didn't rush, he didn't get overexcited. He saw Lipinski, and he takes the mark. Great play, they're blowing this game apart.
They are, and centre bounce goals are absolutely as rare as hen's teeth, and now they are going to line up for their glasses on, Jason, for their 4th goal from centre bounce. That's going to have the rest of the... We saw the coaches that are sitting here, Mitchell and Fagan. That'll make them sit up and take notice.
Lipinski with the attempt to convert, but there was always a bit left, wasn't it?
Can't beat speed out of a stoppage. Bo McCreary, that was brilliant. He just took it on, broke free. No one's going to run him down from behind.
They have added some dimensions to the midfield mix, haven't they?
The other thing was, it was a terrific decision running forward. The temptation is to blaze away, but he didn't. He found a little chip kick.
Well, that's not much from Ash. Quaynor, the chaotic ball, knocked it up to Crisp, who put some order into it. Lipinski has the options out wide, and Membry can go back and contemplate his 4th.
He's had a couple of those tonight, Lockie Ash. He's trying to be creative. He's trying to make something happen. We see Scotty Pendlebury back on the bench. That's at least the good news, I think. But just errors. I mean, they're working so hard without scoring, the Giants, and then they're just coughing up easy opportunities at the other end through silly mistakes.
Be the game high leads one way or another. 3 goals in that opening term to this end. Tim Membry, 4 the most he kicked as a Pie last year. First year in the black and whites. Tim Membry. It's not going to be the goal that he was searching for, but it will be the behind that makes it the game high 21.
Well, Tim Membry would be a good chat after the game just to talk about the way that they've moved his footy, and the fact that they've been able to come through the middle at centre bounce gives him a fantastic look.
One of 10 30-pluses in this Collingwood team tonight.
Play on.
Iden spots Ash. Time to get creative if he can, and that's an excellent result. Stringer was big in the second quarter when they needed him to be. But nothing next, not yet anyway. Waiting for something to materialise. It's his faith in Riccardi. Hogan works there slowly. Howe going back. Canelio up and under from O'Halloran, just in hope really. Angwin reaches for it. Can't quite bring it down. Schultz to De Goey, led with a fist. And now the follow, going to be met by Laverde. Body line the footy, took it. The delivery is a little bit iffy to Oliver. Back to the inside, decisive from Callahan. Gothard, got her. But can't. No, it's still happens. That doesn't even score.
So Houston prompts. Oh, he flirted heavily with the boundary, and he has kicked it the wrong side.
The only Giants fan in about 200 metres on that side of the ground was perfectly positioned to be the boundary umpire.
His appeal was very important in hostile territory. On the line, Xavier O'Halloran. So this is the 3rd time he's gone back from this territory. One short, one he laid off.
And if he was quicker, he had options as soon as he got the ball.
So if he sits this on the goal line, Jason, then he should never have a shot from anywhere outside 45 again, ever.
So there's a lot of responsibility on this kick for more reasons than one. O'Halloran launches on the behind line. It's through. 20 points down.
So 10 inside 50s again. Well done, Laverde. Read it really well.
Embodied the ball.
Embodied the ball. For 1 goal, 9 inside 50s for 3 goals at the other end.
So as it stands, it's a 20-point margin. Just under 5 minutes remaining in this tense 3rd term. Crowd quiet for now. Maynard gets it back. He didn't hit that sweep. And Laverde is in the right hole again. Plays 150th after the bye. Giants head to gather room, or gather round, I should say. By the Tigers and the Barossa.
Play on.
Ash.
He's off again. He'll make it up as he goes.
Great ad-libber, isn't he?
Yep. And the great thing is, look, he's made a couple of mistakes. One of them cost a goal early in the game. He won't die wondering, though. He'll keep trying. He'll keep taking it on.
It's more sideways now, though, the Giants, as opposed to when they were really flying. It was handball. It was through the middle of the ground. This is credit to Collingwood. They've just stopped them.
Himmelberg needs Briggs to fly against Dean. Stringer, clever. Riccardi, Delana. And that's what Hogan needed. Now, does Jesse go for goal or set it up? He's put his faith in Thomas. The height and the strength of Crisp. Brown. Thomas ducks the head. Back through the traffic. Collingwood players and reinforcements everywhere. Steals side bottom. At least clears the immediate danger. Membry up to do his bit. And that's very well seen off by the Magpies.
Gee, Callum Brown was disappointing there. They had a 2-on-1. And he lets his opponent go and spoil Thomas, who was there, that could have taken an uncontested mark. He just had to put his body in and act like he was competing for the ball. A 2-on-1 and you lose it.
Well, Chris was the one. He did a great job to work his way through that.
The schedule for the game's record, you know, I get panicky, but once he's spent 12 minutes on the bench and been down to the rooms, he's just not quite sure.
They just might be monitoring this scoreline, Jared, too. 20-point margin now. They can get away with Pendlebury and more on the bench.
Phoenix got that. He's trying to pick out the target in the pocket. He's done pretty well.
Guys, an update on Scott Pendlebury. A bit of Achilles tightness, so won't take any further part in the game.
Righto. Well, that's interesting. You're not going to muck around with that.
Briggs moves it quickly, and Jesse Hogan on a productive lead.
Right, so he goes on the lead. He gets a good pass. Jesse's got to go back and kick the goal. They need this if they're going to have any hope of being close enough to run over them, given how hard scoring has been. He's got to kick this goal, Jesse Hogan.
And got to try, and we talked about being energised that Oscar Steen did for Collingwood.
Yeah.
He's got to show some enthusiasm here. Get the body language up and just look like he can take him to the promised land.
Time to lift individually and collectively. That's not it. That will probably have the opposite effects, deflating the Giants' faithful.
Oh, it's a
Good test for
frustrating
him,
game.
It is, but it's a good test for him. We want to see him with his head up and continuing to push hard. The Pendlebury news is a big story.
So the last two captains watching on for Collingwood. Moore and Pendlebury. Current leader, of course, is Darcy Moore.
Not mucking around with an Achilles tendon, that's for sure.
Move out of the way.
So this is the run to the record as to where it might land against Hawthorn. See if everything went smoothly.
Yeah, it's it for him for tonight in game 428 as Oliver taken over ball and all by Jack Crisp.
The Giants are going to look at some of these numbers. They're plus 55 in uncontested possession, plus 12 inside 50s. Look at the scoreboard and say, how are we 20 points behind here? They're huge numbers.
Briggs. Steen with the left hand. Oliver scooped it back. Thomas's hands were brilliant. Allows Green to do that. Not many could get through. Gave possibilities for Krzyzewski. Quainer. He's still walking a tightrope here. Frampton trying to get him out of dodge. High ball. Leak with the leap. Can't bring the ball down. McCroonering, well done. And Leak goes in again off the outside of the boots. And Krzyzewski, that might have come off. No, hand, not foot. And so we'll have a throw in. They need some reward here to state the obvious.
Courage too. There, from Rowan Steele going back. They do need some reward. 14 inside 50s this quarter. It's the solitary goal.
Guys have stacked the defensive 50. Briggs, Oliver to the square. Even Membry's back at fullback. Good contest, Krzyzewski. He needs the minions though. Does Grew to get amongst it, but they can't. Well, that's socket and it's going to be insufficient intent.
Brayden, come stand up.
So it's going to be Harvey Thomas, who is a left footer. Kicked a nice goal late last week as they had that late surge. And here we are, less than a week later, with the Giants needing his best. Closing minute of the third term. They've missed so many shots tonight. This one of the hardest. He doesn't take it, Thomas. He wants a mark in the square. It was never going to be easy, although dodgy hands from Howe. Dacos is claimed too quickly.
He was smart though, Nick Dacos. He knew he was going to get tackled. Happy to wear it, get a stoppage, set up defensively.
So the chipping away goes on for the Giants. Can they find a way to the goal mouth? And Nick Dacos holds them up.
Just feel like they have to get a goal in the last 45 seconds, the Giants.
Briggs, clean hand to it. Green's working hard underneath. Everything disputed when it's in that close. Gothard bought the kick. Callahan had it tipped away. McCreary threatens to break this into open play. Giants are well set up though. Iden handled the bouncing ball. Spreads it around. Himmelberg. Oliver. Can they find one target here? Amongst the massive humanity, it's kick and hope again. Hogan in the middle of that pack. Easy enough spoil. Clever tap. Lipinski worked that out well with Chris, but now Maynard popped it over the top. Nick Dacos retreated. Lipinski, Collingwood ever so clever with the ball handling here to keep it out of the Giants' clutches. Have taken 19-point lead with three-quarter time.
Yes, well done, Pies. They kicked 3-2 to 1-4. They've lost Scott Pendlebury for the night, but Nick Dacos is their star and leader, just as Jason Dunstall is the star and leader of Bounce.
Oh, there we go, folks. There we go. I tell you what, it's the Magpies out to a 19-point lead going into the final term. I tell you what, they were pretty good in that quarter. Their defensive work was just fantastic down their back line. The Giants had so many inside forward 50s for that one goal. Well done, Pies, well done. It was 1 goal, 4 in that third term to the Giants. 3 goals, 2 to the Magpies. There we go. They stretched their lead from 9 points out to 19. It's 9-5, 59 the Magpies, 5-10, 40 the Giants. Hey, well, it's great to see the Magpies leading away. 14 scoring shots to 15. Giants plus winning the scoring shots, but trail by 14 points. Hey, make no mistake, this is still anybody's game. I'm not calling this a victory just yet. Music Cats King, I'm not calling this a victory just yet, but I hope Rosalie can show her teacher that video. You're a really big fan. I've been here since day one. Love your content. You're such a nice guy. Hey, thanks, Rosie. Appreciate that. Thanks for coming on in as always. Good stuff. Hey, let's go and have a look at the goal scorers. What do we got? 3 extra 4 goals in that quarter. Tell you what, Nick Dacos tore up that third quarter there. He was fantastic. Goal scorers, Tim Membry. Well, he's still on 3 goals. The leading goal scorer out on the ground there for the Magpies hasn't hit another goal since quarter time. But Nick Dacos, the superstar, he's got 2 goals now. Go Nick. 2 goals, 1. There we go. Oscar Steen with his first goal in AFL. Well done to the big man for Collingwood. I tell you what, making his debut, he's going to hold his spot, I think, for some time to come. Lockie Schultz with 1. McStain, Ned Long also bobbing up with singles to the Maggies. For the Giants, no multiples, all singles. Jake Stringer, the package, he's got 1. Jake Riccardi's got 1. Guessi's got 1, Toby Green and Gothard. That is it. The goal scorers for the Maggies and the Giants. Clayton Oliver. Probably, you know what? I'll give him due where it's due. Is that what you call it? Due where it's due. We'll have a look at the quick look at the efficiency inside 50 in just a second. Clayton Oliver. I think this is definitely one of the better games I've seen him play in a long time. He leads the top of the table on 28 disposals. Of course, I'm sure Nick will go above at the end. 11 and 17, he's had 3 marks to tackle, 9 clearances and a behind Clayton Oliver, looking like a bit of a bull out there. He's having a good game out there for the Giants, and I think he's pretty well best on ground for the Giants. But for the Magpies, Nick Dacos, 27 touches, 13 kicks, 14 handballs, 2 marks, 3 tackles, 5 clearances, 2 goals, 1. He's having a ring-a-ding-ding game. Next best on 25 is for the Giants, Lucky Whitfield, Finn Callahan. And, of course, Josh Dallas next on the table there with 24 down there in case you want to pause this or watch this later for your team stats. I'll just have a quick look at the efficiency inside the forward 50. For the Cats King, you just want to have a look. There we go. They're about plus 40, plus 44 disposal count, the Giants. Inside 50s, 33 to the Magpies, 14 scoring shots. Not too bad. 48, they're plus 15 on inside 50s, the Giants. 48 for 15 scoring shots. There we go. Looking at the efficiency inside 50 at 39.6 there. They're a bit below their season average. Magpies ran about even 45 efficiency. 12 free kicks to 8. We knew they were going to pick up. I think that was 3 Collingwood in the third term, 5 to the Giants in that third term. I just want to pop back down here. I just want to go down and have a look at the tackle count. There we go. Tackle count. Still a little bit low, needs to lift, still needs to lift. I think it was 9, 18, 12 tackles I think the Giants had in that third term, 30. 12 of those side 50, Maggie's 33. That's still pretty low for the Maggies. They're normally a pressure tackling, hard tackling side, 33. 6 on the inside there forward, 50. All right, hey, that's enough of me chit-chatting. There we go. There we go. Where do I want to go? There we go. That'll do. All right, let's head back down to the commentators, folks. Hey, let's go. Oh, look at this. I like the poll at the moment. We've got 92% tipping the Magpies to win this game. I hope you're all right, folks. I hope you're all right. Let's head back down to the action. The Cats are around, yeah, I'll tell you what, that doesn't surprise me. The Cats are about 70% there. Some of their forwards are just incredible down there, and they do deliver the ball exceptionally well. All right, let's head back down to the action. They'll take us into the bounce of ball for the final quarter. It's the Magpies by 19.
Fingers crossed for Scott Pendlebury.
Yeah, well, they won't take any risks. He's going to get the record. There's no question. What they won't take a risk with either is Nick Dacos. He's just had the third best quarter of his career. Now, that's saying something given what sort of football that man plays. And what I love most about Jace, he ended up with 8 touches. And what I love most about it was he spent the last 8 minutes or so at full forward. Yep. He kicked 2 goals for the quarter. Now, he could have 40 possessions if he puts his mind to it every week. If he ends up with 28 and 3 or 4 goals, that might be a whole different look for the Collingwood Footy Club.
And the other thing to talk about, those 8 possessions, people think, oh, he's getting handball received. 6 of them were contested. He's earning them. He gets his own footy. He wins it, and then he uses it well to kick those 2 goals. That gave them the break that they needed again.
I reckon I gave that first goal unders too. It was a rip of the tap to certainly get it back.
And what they did do, what they've discovered is a new ruck force with Cameron and Oscar Steen. So they 4-1 out of the centre. They kicked 2 goals from centre bounce in that third quarter alone. So they're going to walk away from this game. You'd imagine that they're hot favourites to win it, with a whole different perspective in the middle of the ground, with Darcy Moore back on the deck, and with Nick Dacos in maybe career best form.
The Giants were big finishers last week. They have left themselves a mountain, though, at 19 points after a wasteful evening inside 50. Collingwood looking to put the final touches on things. Green, Callahan, Briggs had a fresh airing. DeGoey and Josh Dacos up to Nick, who's controlled the tempo of the game since halftime. Measures off the kick. Oh, that is so good. The art of misdirection, to think it was going to be Lipinski, but it was always McStay.
Yes, Jared, beautiful call. Because Pat Lipinski thought, oh no, for the first time in Nick's life he's missed the target. But guess what, Pat? You were never the target.
Yeah, just get out of the way.
He stopped it over his head into Dan McStay's chest.
The goal in the opening term did Dan McStay. Shoulder surgery across the summer to be ready for the fresh assaults. His kick will make it very difficult for the Giants. It is quite the mountain to climb now. 25 points with the decisive opener of the final term.
Hasn't been a big night for Dan McStay. 6 possessions, but he has kicked the 2 goals. And the unfortunate thing from a Giants perspective is the goals are coming easier at Collingwood's forward end, and they are harder and harder to get at the other end. They got themselves back within a kick early in that third term, but the margin now seems so far away.
This is another centre bounce. This has been credited to be another centre bounce goal here. Just look at the magic. Look here, the artistry. Over the top of 2, onto the chest of McStay. That is as good as it gets. And this is what Dan McStay's looking at the other end. So he's probably screaming at Pat Lipinski to say, I don't know what you're going in there for, Pat. In fact, that's going to be a great teaching point when they go with their forward. Don't go in there.
That's the space you want left open.
Get out of it.
Back into the flow again, this time generated by DeGoey. He got it back from Dacos and then side bottom. He's going to be on the end of it and stay working hard to get himself clear in the pocket and led beautifully. Fine connection between a couple of veterans there.
Well, this will be the 5th goal from a centre bounce if he kicks this. They kicked 2 in the third quarter rather, and this will be the first 2 of the 4th. So they had some issues from a centre bounce point of view. Scoring from centre bounce, well, not tonight. It's been a masterclass.
They used to be centre bounces, Gaz, anyway.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. McStay, wouldn't he love it? Sneaky little bag of 3 or 4 tonight. Was not to be with that kick. Never been a huge goal kicker. 28 was the most in a season. Collingwood knew what they were getting, though. He's had a lot of bad luck, really, since he's been there. Could easily have played in and won a flag.
Midfield on kicking duties. Fonte.
Well, we talk about their forward issues coming into this and the fact that they haven't gone past 11 goals in 5 weeks. They're sitting on 10, but defensively, they are screwed down. They've got the GWS Giants to 5 goals in 3 quarters.
Oh, that's not a great kick. McStay set up Elliott, back to McStay, inboard, side bottom, gliding through. The give and go, and it's Sidey's goal to kick. He can't. It's packed it on the surface.
Well, they need to be a little bit more daring with their ball use now, the Giants. They're going to get killed off. It'll be death by 1,000 cuts if they just keep going the way they're going. They've got to take some risks, get back to what they were doing earlier in the game, make it a fast-paced, open game and see if they can execute a bit better.
Ash takes what's given in the pocket. Fonte.
So we don't talk about defensively how Collingwood have set this up, Jace, but just look across the ground here. It's a credit to how hard they're working. There's another example there.
Disrupted shots. Could have chosen the goals or the short pass to Elliott, and he makes the right call.
That's exactly an example of what we're talking about. We look up the ground and we can see the whole ground clearly, and they are all working. They're on their toes. They're trying to cut off leads, and then this is just a heads-up play because someone doesn't go to sleep on defence. And now Jamie Elliott's getting the easiest of looks.
Quiet night for Jamie Elliott. Just 3 disposals. Slow start by his standards. 60 goals last year. He's going to get more opportunities if the Pies keep playing this way. The lead stretches beyond 5 goals. Jamie Elliott with his 4th of the season. The Magpies have their fans feeling triumphant.
Well, they've broken the game open now, and all of a sudden, it's an opportunity for this to be a big percentage booster for the Pies. They can turn this into an 8 or 10 goal win here. They're just a defensive pressure again. A number of times tonight, we've seen the Giants kick into the man on the mark, not making a decision, not knowing what to do, and the pressure gets them. Loved Lockie Schultz's decision, though. Got the ball. A lot of players would have blazed away. Just a simple 15-metre chip. Make a certainty of it.
That Collingwood drone rumbles around under the roof. They have their quarry right where they want them now. 33 points. Cameron just judged things better. Right under the kick, though. Good work by Long to present, and Midfield dragged him over the shoulder. There were options everywhere going by. Instead, more direct up to full forward. What do they got? A bit of hoppo-bumpo being played there. Membry's side bottom. Crisp side bottom from out of play. You wouldn't dare. Not quite enough.
A touch ambitious even for steel side bottom, that one.
Right out, please. Right out.
He's always found the joy in footy, hasn't he, steel side bottom? And plays like that now. Iden just tiptoes and kicks for Stringer. Maynard put his body in front. As a result, was able to work it through Crisp. Back again to Maynard, who launches into the pocket. McStay starting to see them, but Laverty's been one of their best back there. Takes the mark, swings it across through Ash. And out the other side to Fonte. Is there a path and a passage for them this time? It's going to take some doing. Camilio taken to ground. They're disrupted again. The pressure, it's everywhere. Thomas's turn. He zigs, he zags, he's cornered.
How good. How good's that, Hutto? You're 34 points up, and this is what happens. You've just stifled this team. You've strangled them. So that's Long, and then Membry gets involved, and they just refuse to let them get an easy out. It's been the cornerstone of what they've done for a long time.
Not as much fun for our lone Giant fan out there on the 50. Gothard to Oliver. to Fonte. A bit of momentum at last. Good extra run from Oliver. And the handoff to Ash, but he's pretty bare ahead for him. He has to kick and hope. Frampton versus Stringer has been their best avenue to goal tonight. Takes the mark, quickly turns. Riccardi's. Instead, it's one of the smaller brigade, and that's hard running from Thomas. We saw him in defence just a few moments ago, and he's taken a good mark.
Well, they got it right third time. They've tried to set up some handball chains coming out of defence. The first couple, the Collingwood pressure was too good, created a turnover. They got a goal out of it this time. Lockie Ash able to get on the end of it, hit a long pass to Stringer, who quickly wheeled around and found the target inside 50.
Consistent start to the season for the 20-year-old. In Turvey Park in New South Wales. 20 plus disposals in each of his first 3 games. Kicked a goal last week and has added another here. And they are to muster some sort of resistance and then fight, maybe in the form of a comeback. They had to find a goal from somewhere, and they get it from Harvey Thomas.
So Clayton Oliver's worked really hard for
down the ball, hasn't he? 30 possessions.
Yeah, he just needs. This is where they miss, say, Josh Kelly, and they need a bit of Tom Green support through the middle, because he'll get first possession all day long, but he's a giver. He's to set someone else free. He's not necessarily going to slice you to ribbons by foot, but he'll find the ball. He puts his head in the hole every time. He's up to 30 touches, so 14 of them contested. 5 score involvements inside 54 times, so he's certainly rode his side of the boat.
28-point margin. Giants wore some heavy blows in the early minutes of this term, and they balance up on the back of that. Canelio wins the centre clearance for them. Houston led Hannaford up to it. Lipinski lends a hand, and Nick Dacos was breaking the moment the ball turned over. Sets the Pies in the Membry direction. Could spoil Himmelberg. Iden got it to boot. Thomas is working at both ends. Ash.
Stand, play on.
Not a whole lot to work with. Just that set brings a big task there. Release to Canelio, went round and round to Goey. Back onto it, can't quite gather. Ash found a way. Leak has a go. Angwin. He got up the field. Brown is the short target.
McCreary's defensive efforts all night have been superb. He doesn't get a heap of footy, but boy, hell, he works hard.
Angwin was called back up to it. He liked the look of Stringer. Too far out himself unless he can crib, and now he's in range. Stringer pushes it as he was looking for career goal 400.
He got a couple of teammates, not that they were in A1 position, but thought he had the capabilities to kick long-range goals. We've seen plenty of those in the almost 400 tally that he has. The last moment, Dacos plays it wide. Maynard. All is quiet at Marvel Stadium. Magpie fans have enjoyed the night. The debut of Oscar Steen has been the highlight. Nick Dacos, 30 disposals. Josh, 26. Sidebottom's found some form as well.
Yeah, the only frown they might have is this man, with a bit of Achilles soreness. So they've got a whole lot of things planned, I would imagine, and that'll be up in the air, but it's still about the team. That's the most important thing, and they're going to be 3-1 on the back of this win, we think.
Back it out here, guys.
A 2-1 on the back of this win. And ahead of the count. This is a great way to be.
Big Easter Thursday clash, of course, against Brisbane. Coming up. Rather with the 40, Dacos' handball errant. England's kick has the Collingwood defence on alert. Perryman to Lipinski, and again they find a way just to ease the pressure. And Crisp, who's had a stellar start to the season, has continued on here. Takes the mark possession, 18 coming.
Brings it long down the line. Set Cameron a fair task. Liberty sees it over the boundary. So Cameron's reality changes after tonight, doesn't he? He's the reigning best and fairest. It's been his role for a long time, and now on the evidence that we've seen, it becomes a shared arrangement.
For sure.
For the maximum benefit of the team.
Yeah, and it's a challenge of the new rules. We've seen him stretched a little bit a couple of times, so here he goes again, big Oscar.
Then setting Nick Dacos up. Just curry favour. Just keep setting Nick Dacos up.
Yeah, and wash the coach's car. The coach might be washing his car. It's been quite something, Oscar Steen, what he's done tonight. Brings us forward hard. I like the way that he's trying to fight back hard, but he's just a bit of a specimen, Steen, at centre bounce.
Briggs, nice tap. Toby's in strife. He's able to release Callahan, being pursued by McCreary. Just a tip in there from Josh Dacos. Gothard kept it going the Giants' way and then followed it up to just make the tackle. Reset at the stoppage.
Giants, Nicholas Madden dominated the VFL today in the game against Collingwood. There will be some ruckmen at the lower levels, even out of the system at the moment, who have that leap that will be thinking their prospects have been enhanced by the rule change. The pressuring and the tackling has been relentless from Collingwood. As a result, Nick Dacos is clear. All systems go, go, go. Stay, or mixed stay, as it turned out. Unfortunately for the Collingwood forward line, Iden to Laverty, down the line to Anglin, and they get another chance. The left boot, reasonably well measured, but more, as he's done for so many years, up to me that cut it off and then get it moving through side bottom. Lipinski, McCreary, Nick's ready again. Will he have a third in mind? He thinks about it long and hard, and then doesn't get as close as he would have liked.
Well, he was in an inordinate amount of space. He stayed there after the last kick where he missed McStay going forward, and no one picked him up. He's in 30 metres on his own, Nick Dacos.
He's knackered too, I reckon.
He's covered some ground. Well, maybe they've just got sick of chasing him.
That is the technical term for a guess.
2 goals, 2, and it's 33 disposals in the 701 metres games.
It's the 2 goals, 2. We all know what he's capable of all over the ground, but the 2 goals.
Here, and he is hunted down. Side bottom. Perryman lays it off, and Membry will get another look at a fourth.
Again, they tried to set up the handball chain coming out of defence. The Collingwood too good. Their pressure has just been too good.
Around to Houston.
Now we know he's in range, Jared.
Yes. Yeah, so he's finding his way in this second season, 16 tonight. Just the 1 score involvement.
Love the forward half pressure from the Pies tonight. It's been outstanding. And that's a sustainable brand too, if we can produce that all the time.
Long range. Dan Houston winds it up. That is so pure. And it cracks the 11-goal threshold, Gaz. It's a dozen for the Pies.
Brought up in fine style as well. So, Jason, you love the forward half pressure. I love what the defence has been able to do as well. They've kicked the Giants to 6 goals in almost a full game of footy. So when you've got both ends operating really well, and then you throw Steen and Dacos through the middle, this is a really good night for the Magpies. It's a really good night. And they'll take so much out of this. It does show another dimension to this team. Let's sit back now and just ponder what it means going forward. But they've added a little element to their game tonight.
The one thing with all the experience they have, they know they can take instruction well, can't they? They can change their game within a game. And this man, Dan Houston, he adds another dimension off half back. You'll know what happened last year. What about that from Oscar again? Huge spike forward. People are going to come and watch for ruckman to do that sort of stuff.
Don't get carried away.
Okay. Well, they'll at least enjoy it if they happen to be here. Perryman, back to Chris. Bit of a saunter on the wing. To side bottom. Saw off Oliver. And over 2 is ahead from Benro and McStay. He chose Dan McStay, who kicks to Benro after all.
It's been good to see McStay and Membry get involved over the 4 quarters of this game. So 3 goals to Tim Membry. He's given one away as well. A couple of goals to Dan McStay. He looks to be getting confidence the way he's leading at the footy. So a lot of positive signs from a Collingwood perspective.
Well, Timmy Membry's taken 5 marks inside forward 50. They've taken 15 for the night. The first 2 games they managed 10. So faster ball movement. Sting's got out of the game. Forwards are getting on the end of it.
Solid first year in his new colours. His career extended. Slow start to this year, but he's got going now. He's done that for so many years. Set shot, goal. Tim Membry takes the Pies to a 40-point margin. And they have cleared out on the Giants.
Well, the next thing you see whether they can let's see if they can break the ton, which they haven't done since July of 2025. So the sting's gone right out of this. The GWS Giants resistance has almost disappeared. So we've got plenty of time on the clock, and they'll be lining up. If you played in that Collingwood forward line right now, you'd be lining up. Just that last big punch forward by Steen.
Yeah.
So Lipinski's playing at the top. He's playing the old-fashioned centre-half forward. The communication has to be there for him as well. He took his man into the space that McCreery, it was clearly a set play. McCreery's running onto it beautifully, and all of a sudden Lipinski bobs up with his man.
I think Steen took offence that there was a secondary ruckman in against him. It was Ricard. He's been jumping over bricks all night.
So Cameron does his own bit of feeding down to Schultz, and Collingwood go deep again. McStay and Membry, not quite. Himmelberg just did enough after being edged out of the contest, and he's on the follow-up. Iden uses leak, finds Angwood on the way out. He pumps it down the wing. Stringer, Howe reaches in, running the game out strongly, the veteran defender. And that has come undone for the Giants.
And Adam Kingsley's head in his hand, so he's got a lot of work to do. We know he's down on numbers, but a 6-goal game here under the roof. Not capitalising on forward 50 entries.
They'll fall 1 and 3 soon enough. Nick Dacos sets up Schultz. Just seemed to have the right carry the whole way to get to him. Nick wants it back here, and Schultz is inclined to oblige.
Kick another barrel.
Run around? No. Oh, he tried the $1 million kick. Didn't quite come up with it that time. Haller and Callaghan, but the pressure is everywhere. De Goey a bit over exuberant in how he applied it.
Midfield, as a result, Hannaford backing back, takes the mark, just cruising as Callaghan goes as long as he can. Hogan got to the front, but the ball is at the back with Howe, and Jesse is finding it hard to restrain himself with his frustration.
He's had as poor a game as he could have.
England saw an opportunity at the last moment
as a key forward, because, and not to be, not picking on, but they've had 5 more.
Check that England's okay here. I reckon he's landed heavily. Maybe they might need to check him. He was really shaken after that. Have a look at the reaction. Might be a head clash. A head clash, and then it hits the ground as well.
We saw last night that the independents will have a look at it as well as the doctor.
He's up and at him with a handball. Hannaford, they work it around. Leak. And Stringer.
Yeah, so getting back to it, they're +6 inside 50s. They're 40 points down. And Jesse Hogan is one of the key forwards that's allowed himself, and this is the criticism, he's allowed himself to be dominated by an opponent.
8th most goals of the current players. Just over 100, have kicked 400 in all time, so he'll be in great company. He's always been able to produce some outstanding long kicks for goal, Jake Stringer, and just beyond it. As tonight has been beyond the Giants in the end.
So Collingwood set up from deep in defence. Houston has crisp. Quaynors the runner. On at that, he is being pursued. Evasive action though. Canelio got him and wins holding the ball.
GWS, advantage.
Oliver sets up Angwin, who seems to be fine. Could spoil Maynard. And it is met with such enthusiasm and warmth.
Yeah, that is a great close from Maynard. You can see the excitement that generates. Not coughing up there. He could have just
a 39 points.
Jogged off and stood the mark and thought there's no danger here, but he just refused to give a possession away.
That'll be trademark stuff. Nick Dacos in the clutches this time, but still managed to get it to McCreery. Josh just had that shoulder issue early in the game, but he has recovered fine. And sets Collingwood up to the forwards. Now, who's circling? Nobody really with any intent. Ground ball to be won. McCreery found the way out, sized it all up, and didn't quite kick it the way that he wanted. I think he was aiming for Schultz across the far side.
Good floater.
Into their handball game. Halloran. Hannaford. Brings it inside to Ash. Delana running hard ahead. That's his target. Takes the mark out wide. Quiet night for the youngster, floating it for Krzyzewski, or at least trying to. Tackle from Maynard, Dacos. Can't this time. Gonna work it back from Gothard. Midfield's kick, and at last Hogan finds a little pocket of space.
Yeah, I reckon they're still checking the footage for that hit on Anglin. He's been holding the head.
So it's been a barren night for Jesse Hogan, just 3 disposals. Collingwood medalist of a couple of years ago, of course. The game might be gone, but he can still get something out of it. Close to his confidence that he can kick straight. Unfortunately, it's getting worse and
It's been that sort of night for Jesse Hogan. Just the 4 possessions and a behind to his name.
That did answer the question, how could it get any worse? To put back together for the Giants.
They'll have a couple of weeks to do it at least. And hopefully the return of some troops.
Josh Dacos with the short for Maynard. Top of the arms from Halford. It's been tough to boo. Josh kept on coming to double up. Himmelberg was favoured in flights underneath Membry. Schultz fights the fight. Oliver holds him up.
Thanks, Lockie. Crack it out this way. Darcy, Kieran, hold the meter.
Angling more than anything. Looking hard at the source of it. Gothard's kick smothered. Leak dragged out of his hands. Elliott's Callahan disputing. Side bottom somehow managed to come up with it. Probably run on just a fraction too strong, and Laverde makes sure of that.
A lot of interest. There's a lot of chatter and a lot of conversation being had about the meat trade right now. That's where your mind turns to. I don't have a say in it, but gee whiz, it's a big fella out there that has to be a chance, surely.
Sure, they got it right last week.
Oh, controversial.
Cameron putting the ruck work down to Whitfield, and then O'Halloran, the outside. Payne's got a head start in the handicap race with Hannaford closing quickly and getting in his face. Well done, young man. Umpire doesn't pay it.
Had to reward that tackle.
Maybe it was obscured. Toby runs the show. Kicks it down the line to Stringer. Maynard takes the chance to give away the free kick and make him earn it and feel it. Down the line, Krzyzewski. It's going to take some marking. Pack capsized. Howe sticks at it. He's done nothing wrong in his return.
He's got through. Darcy Moore's still playing, so he's fine. Would appear to be fine. And the only query is over Scott Pendlebury. It's just about been the perfect night. 41,607. That's testament to the Collingwood faithful too.
Steen's come back on the ground for the last 2 or 3 minutes. And he's going to be trying to defend Hogan here, but he didn't need to in the end because the ex-Giant Perryman had it covered.
Frampton, crisp.
Play on!
Long might have the last headache in the Magpie camp when the MRO sits in the next little bit. That's out on the full. As to whether he makes the trip to Brisbane to face the Lions on Thursday nights.
Just go back outside the boundary line. Come back outside. Thank you.
The thumping big crowd at the Gabba for us.
Play on!
See the Lions here tomorrow against the Saints. Iden gives them a fly inside the forward line. Chris roves the pack. Delana tied him up. Those small forwards, Delana's had 3. Gothard looks lively with 15, and Hannaford, it's been a hard night for him.
Play on!
No immediate clearance, so Oliver gets back to work. Callahan and Thomas. Jesse sets himself, so Hogan leans in, swatted away by Howe. DeGoey, Howe jammed it under the boot. And he'll come straight back though. Himmelberg, Whitfield, he'll find Stringer in the pockets. And Jake can go back and size this up once more.
He's worked hard.
It's his 3rd look at goal number 400. Jake Stringer on the move. It's a momentous milestone when you reach 400 goals. It's spread across 3 clubs. 160 with the Dogs, 207 with the Dons, and 33 with the Giants.
Looks like they're just having a check of Ryan Angler now. He has worked hard, Jake Stringer. He was slow starting tonight, but he's eventually found a way to get into the game, also in the second half. Led early, he saw the turnover coming, and he knew Whitfield is a good kick. 2 goals, 2 from his 13 possessions. There hasn't been a lot of joy going forward for the Giants tonight.
Not really the reception you deserve, is it, for your 400th goal?
It's the challenge for them. Well, I mean, you can't just sit there and say we're missing all these players. You've got to find a way to chalk up a few wins while you're waiting for them to come back. You can't lie stagnant.
Up he goes. He's got a spring, Steen. He gets the tap down again. Forward goes Oliver. And the Giants, though, get the opportunity, but it doesn't last. Crisp instead takes the mark.
Play on.
He jags it out wide for side bottom. He's got a big tally next to his name as well. 29 disposals. Steele back to Josh Dacos. His stat padding. He's making them come to him. He gets a little bored with that in the end, Josh. Just over a minute remaining. The Giants, for the 3rd week in a row, are going down, and twice in 3 weeks it's been here at Marvel Stadium. A respectable margin tonight against the Magpies, given how many are out. Side bottom, still full of energy. Very stripped of it. Callaghan finds a way through. Goddard to Thomas. Blink of an eye, back to Goddard again. Forward through all of this. Their best builds up with Riccardi down to Hogan. Frampton didn't infringe. The ball just tickled towards goal. And now it's coming away towards McCreary. He doesn't take the mark. The gasps of the crowd and a little concern there from Thomas. And side bottom's back into it again. Trusts his left. Good reason. Clean balls to Goey. This is not gorgeous football to finish off the night.
Just deteriorated late in the piece. Giants try to link it up again. Iden and Callaghan and Briggs, who's had a lot to deal with in the ruck tonight. No more than Jesse Hogan has. He's going to give away a free kick right at the end.
He has been good, Billy Frampton, tonight. He has been really good. So many one-on-ones. He's won them or halved them.
The old Pies have brought some new tricks to a Friday night. And it's a performance that might reframe their prospects in the minds of plenty. Collingwood by 33 points, and it sinks the Giants deep at the start of the season. They're 1-3. So 13 goals kicked. Nick Dacos dominant. Darcy Moore a curiosity all night.
Yeah.
Scott Pendlebury hobbles. It's an interest. Oh, well, let's find out a bit more, Rubes.
Well, Pendle's a bit of a concerned look on your face on the bench there. I'm sure you've got everyone at home concerned. But what's going on here?
Oh, not a concerned look. We just made a smart call. I hurt my ankle against Adelaide and, sort of got tight again around that area. And we come back out and we're up by 25 points. So we just said, we don't need to push it here. We got a 6-day break. So, get myself right for that.
Was there a moment in which it tightened, or was it just kind of a general...
just after half-time, it's just got sore again in a similar spot. So, it is what it is. And, it's nothing to worry about.
6-day break against the Lions. Do you see that in the scope, or do you think you'd probably just be looking after it at this stage?
I haven't even spoke to them about that. But no, I thought the boys played amazing tonight, though. Defended them really well. We knew they had a massive focus coming in on offence. Defended them well and put a good score on the board.
Another one that had us scratching our heads, Darcy Moore was just kind of in and out tonight. Look, we couldn't quite figure out what was going on. He could run, but looked a bit uncomfortable kicking. Did he say much to you on the bench?
No, I'm not sure if it was managed because it's him and Howie's first game back, whether they both played lower game time and split it amongst themselves. But I'm sure it'd be better for the run.
Now, must have been good to see the key forwards up and about, and it's kicking over 11 goals this season so far.
Yeah, well, the trend is offense at the moment, isn't it? So what did we kick? 13. So hopefully that keeps everyone happy for a week. And but I thought we defended really well. To keep it to 54 is an incredible effort.
And how about the debutant Oscar Steen? He just brought so much energy from the first bounce. So much to carry on the shoulders of a debutant, but he did really well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He showed this form in Bundoora when we played the Giants in the first practice game. He jumped really well, and to see him get the first crack at it, and to hear him after a few start telling us where he wants to put it and stuff like that. So he's confident at the level, and it should take a lot of confidence out of that.
What have you seen of his development? Because it's taken him 4 years to get here.
Yeah, well, big guys take longer, so he's got to be patient. But he just gets to work every day. He's always trying to improve and get better. And this is just the start for him. He's scratching the surface, but he's such an athletic young guy, so humble and works really hard.
Well, Pendles, eyes up. We hope to see you out there next week.
Yes, thanks, Rubes. Thanks.
Yes, it was interesting responses, wasn't it, from Scott Pendlebury?
Didn't want to talk too much about himself, and then didn't want to talk at all about Darcy Moore.
Less about
Gave us donuts from an injury perspective, but there'll obviously be a couple of players that everyone's keen to follow up on. But the game looks to be in good stead, Collingwood. I love the forward half pressure, and Gaz spoke glowingly about how they're setting up defensively behind the football. There's a lot to like about that style of play. Now, they're not quite kicking the big scores, although they break the 80-point barrier tonight, which was good to see. They're going to come up against tougher challenges than an undermanned Giants, but it looks like they're tracking pretty well.
We know how experienced they are, how old they are, but to bring in someone like Steen, and you're assessing, aren't you, every team at the moment. We're just trying to work out what they've got, what assets they've got, what have they got new in terms of players or game style. And suddenly with the rule changes, we're waiting to see what impact individual players could have. And this young man who, as we know, was an SSP 4 years ago, has had to wait now to get his opportunity. He does bring another dimension to the ruck.
He does, and we saw one or two teams go with it early this season, but now I think there's a few more starting to understand the benefits of a dual ruckman setup.
Let's have a look at his Huey highlights then, because he really did catch our eye.
Well, Craig McRae was happy to let him go in for the first bounce, and that is outstanding. And he was involved with some touches there that really opened things up for Nick Dacos in particular. I love the way he jumps, he attacks the footy, he went down defensively, the big fist through, which is the percentage thing to do. That's all you want him to do. He consistently jumped over Kieran Briggs for much of the night. Troubled Briggs a hell of a lot, who at times didn't even bother jumping, distributed to the midfielders. And then when he was able to go forward and take a big contested mark, that really brought the house down. That was enormous. And his teammates, didn't they enjoy that?
I think we could go with the boss for him, can't we, Springsteen, from now on? What a performance, and part of a winning team as well, which makes your debut all the more better. And again, Collingwood, have they been written off? Most people had them in the lower realms, in the lower reaches of the top 10 as it now is. Does tonight make you reassess or not?
Look, I think they're tracking the right way, but we do have to take into account the opposition and the fact that they pretty much have a full list right now, so things are going pretty well for them. But you can only win, and you can only win comfortably, which they did tonight. We know they have good systems. They have great confidence under Craig McRae, so they're going to win their share of games. It's just a matter of how many will it be come September.
And the Giants have given themselves a real handicap now, haven't they?
And look, we know injuries are a genuine excuse. But again, their challenge is now eking out some wins to have them in a position to strike when they get some of those players back.
Their trajectory's been interesting. They've been winning more home and away matches each year under Adam Kingsley, but they have gone backwards. Yeah. So they've won 13 wins, 15 wins, 16 wins, but they have gone preliminary final, semi-final, elimination final.
Look at Darcy Moore. He really getting the crowd revved up late and just loving being out there again. We saw how passionate he was pre-game, something that he's brought regularly as a captain, and despite all the little issues we saw through the night, he's got through and he looks pretty happy about it.
It's nice to see him excited, and that body language is a hell of a lot better than what we saw down in the room. So this is where it first happened, that long kick, and then he went a bit stiff-legged after that. He went off, he went down the rooms, he was checked out. And all of a sudden it became Darcy watch tonight, and then some of the footage in here trying to kick the footy. Look at the pained expression He is having all sorts of problems there, talking to the physio, not really enjoying what was going on. He did come back on the ground after that, took a big contested mark, shanked a kick, turned it over, and then came back out again. So I guess he got through the game. They rested him at the back end because they didn't need him out there, but it's going to be really interesting to see exactly what the issue was when we get the full details.
Yeah, that's certainly a lot of eyes on Darcy Moore and Scott Pendlebury and Oscar Steen.
That is cult hero right there.
That is brilliant. Look at his mates. Yeah. How good is that?
Young South Australian. He's the youngest player out there tonight for Collingwood at 22.
It couldn't be a better night for that young man to have a debut, to have family here, to have your mates here who painted their stomachs with your initials or the letters of your name. Absolutely brilliant. He'll be beside himself. It'll be like a dream.
If they've made the road trip, it's probably cost them a heap as well if they're driven over from Adelaide. But it's all smiles for Steen and the Pies, Gary Lyon, after that 33-point win.
Yeah, more smiles down here in the Collingwood rooms as well. The CEO, Craig Kelly's beaming like a big Cheshire cat. And a 33-point victory and the birth of a new cult hero. We can hear him coming down the race, boys, and that was comprehensive. They did it in the middle, they did it at either end, and they'd be thrilled with the way they got through this.
They just didn't look worried, did they, Gaz? They got beaten in possession, time in possession, but they were just so efficient when they went forward. So they certainly would be happy, and to put their forward woes, I suppose, behind them was impressive. Here they come.
Skipper's leading him in here, who got through the game. We were a little concerned about him at times as well, but he's got a big smile on his face just behind us. And they all would, Jordan Lewis, because Jeremy Howe come back in and got through. We'll talk to the debutant Oscar Steen at some stage. He got through and was impactful. And the forward line and the mid and the defence were absolutely outstanding. In fact, we might get right out of the road because this is probably going to be a shower as well.
Side by side we sit together to evolve out of magpies. They want to see Americans shouting as old Americans should. Whoa, the premiership's a game, but for the good of Collingwood.
All right, folks, there we go. Game, set, match. It was the Magpies too strong this evening, of course, here at Marvel Stadium. The Magpies 13-9-87. The Giants 7-12-54. It's the Magpies by 33 points. The Giants in the final quarter, they put on 2-2, but the Magpies 4-4. I tell you what, they even with the 4-4, looked like they were tearing the Giants apart in that final term. Of course, 33 points the margin. It's probably a fitting margin in the end. Of course, Jesse Hogan getting his 400th goal of his career, so well done to him. Hey, thanks everyone. I think we got the poll right tonight. 93% went for the Magpies. Well done. Just before we head off for this one, we're just going to run through, quickly have a look at the goal scorers. Actually, the AFL fantasy points. Let's just have a look at that. There it is, the fantasy points there. 140, Nick Dacos on top there. And of course, who are you looking for? Hang on, let me just have a little bit of a look. Darcy Cameron. You look down and see what Darcy Cameron got down there. I think he was down around 59 at some stage. There it is, 59, Darcy Cameron right there. There we go. All right, let's have a look at the goal scorers. How they ended up out on the ground this evening. Of course, Tim Membry led the way out there this evening with 4 straight goals, kicking beautifully straight. Just before we go any further, hey, Nick Dacos has been interviewed. Let's go down to him.
Your efficiency going forward as a football club, tonight you look to turn the tables on that. In terms of going forward, it looked really sound.
Yeah, coaches have been awesome, and then we also sort of had a Scotty Pendlebury masterclass during the week. He sort of got our forwards doing certain leading patterns, and a lot of it was on the midfield too, the supply we were giving them. So it was great to get that connection. The forwards look so dangerous. Timmy Membry, Dan McStay, Jamie, all of them look so good, so it was great.
Yeah, the movement was great. Sorry, is that a player-led thing?
Yeah, at times the coaches have been amazing with sort of trusting us and what we're seeing out there and being able to implement different things. And we watch other teams that have forward lines that are constantly moving, and we talk to our backs, and it's so hard to play against. So we want to try and be the same forward line to oppositions, and I think tonight was a great step in the right direction.
You spoke about the running power for the Giants. I mean, it looked like even in that fourth term, you and the rest of the team were still running strong. Are you fit as you've ever been?
Yeah, feeling really fit. I think as a team, we've been set up, had a great pre-season. Boys are really healthy. I don't think we have many players on the injury list at the moment, touch wood, which is great. So boys are feeling really fit, and we want to play that high intensity game. We feel like it works for us, and Giants are the same way. So at times it was ping pong and we were absolutely stuffed, but 6-day break into Brizzy now, so it's exciting.
Is that what happened at quarter time? It seemed that, I mean, the come forward defence was great. You got a few turnovers, Pendlebury specifically, but it just seems like maybe you backed off a little bit to try and slow the game down.
Yeah, absolutely, and we've got different gears with our offence. We like to think that we can also play that probing game, and I think we did that in the second quarter, and we were able to get a bit of energy in and probably make the Giants forwards work a little bit harder too. So, it was great.
You got a new friend in Oscar Steen?
Oh, mate, he was unbelievable, I think. We've been seeing it for a long time now, and he's stuck behind an amazing ruck in Darcy Cameron. So he's just been waiting for his opportunity. He's been working super hard. He's one of the best blokes you'll meet. So I was just stoked for him tonight, and amazing to see him kick a goal too.
What about the first one? The one over the back, straight down your throat?
Oh, mate, unbelievable. He was coming to centre bounce and just saying, "Where do you want it, boys?"
He was, yes. I mean, athletically, it's probably a reason why they let Cox go at the end of last year, knowing what was coming beneath. But it just seemed like the efficiency going forward was there, that the running power was there, but also the defensive side of the game was first class.
Absolutely. We always say we're a system-based defence, and we value that as our number one sort of weapon, and we feel like we can sort of strangle teams and just make it a dogfight at times. So it might not be the prettiest game to watch at times, but we feel like that plays into our hands. And I think tonight, I'm not sure what the Giants kick, but they're such a good offensive team, so to hold them to a low score is great.
And Billy Frampton, outstanding behind the ball with two key players coming in. You just must love knowing that you've got that stability behind the ball.
He was massive, and I think, as you said, Darce and Howie coming back definitely helped him, and even just seeing Howie fly at those contests and Darce too, it makes you feel a lot safer as a midfielder, knowing that it's going to come to ground, or they'll mark it and it'll come back out the other way. So Bill was amazing, and hopefully he takes a lot of confidence from the performance.
We loved your game. You're outstanding, but we do love a big forward as well. So we're going to get Timmy Membry in. So you're going to have a
good.
spell,
I like it. Thanks, guys.
Well done, mate. Nick Dacos, who continues to lay claim to the best.
All right, there we go. A little bit of a interview with Nick Dacos. That was lucky we caught on that. All right, let's head back through the goal scorers and the top leading disposal getters. 4 goals to Tim Membry. McStay for the Magpies kicked 2 alongside Nick Dacos. Oscar Steen came up with his first goal of AFL on his debut. Lockie Schultz, Ned Long, Dan Houston, and a good to see Jamie Elliott coming in there with a single there for the Maggies. 4, of course, the Giants. Jake Stringer topped their table with 2, kicking his 400th goal. Harvey Thomas kicked one with Jake Riccardi, Gretzky, Toby Green, and Gothard were the goal scorers over there. Major ball winner, 31. Let's have a look at the ball winners over here at the moment. Of course, the major ball winner out there this evening was Lockie Whitfield, 39 for the Giants, 20 kicks, 19 handballs, 7 marks, 3 tackles and a clearance. Clayton Oliver had I pretty much thought Clayton Oliver was one of the best for the Giants. He had 37 touches, 11 kicks, 26 handballs. He had 3 marks, 2 tackles, but he had 10 clearances. So he was doing a lot of work around the ball, one behind. Of course, Nick Dacos topped the table for the Magpies, probably just about best on ground. I reckon he'd be pretty even with Clayton Oliver. It'd be interesting, Brownlow night. Who gets the 3 votes for Charlie? I tell you what, 36. He had 20 kicks, 16 handballs, 4 marks, 4 tackles, 6 clearances, 2 goals, 2. Couldn't have done much more. Nick Dacos, he was absolutely fantastic. Finn Callahan, 35 for the Giants. Of course, Josh Dacos, 33 touches. Of course, as you said, still side bottom the old boy, 31 touches. He played a fantastic game. 17 kicks, 14 handballs, 11 marks, 4 clearances, and kicked it behind. Probably sure, tell you what, it was a great back and forth handball. Ran in, didn't quite put the ball on boot, hit the post, should have slotted a sausage roll there, the good old Sids, but there we go, another cracking game. They were your top players in the 30 plus. We head on down. Lockie Ash, 28. Jack Crispon, 26. Toby Green, he was Tell you what, he was a little bit quiet, well held, even though he had 21 touches, 5 clearances and a goal. Braden Maynard, there we go. He had 18. Always a tough nut, working hard alongside Dan Houston on 18. Lockie Schultz, 17. Not a bad effort from him. Who else we got there? Let's roll on down. Jordan Ngoe sort of came into the game in the second half. Looked good for the run. He'll be fighting fit for Brisbane next week. And, of course, Billy Frampton, 15. Jake Stringer, as I said, 13 touches, 10 kicks, 2 goals, 2 with his 400. Tim Membry, 13 touches, 8 kicks, 4 goals. Harry Himmelberg, he had 13 with Caniglio, both for the Giants. Jeremy Howe with 11, good comeback game from him. Scotty Pendlebury went off the ground with a bit of a sore ankle. Of course, just the smart move there. Not sure what was going on with Darcy Moore. Of course, he looked like a little bit of a hobble cat there, just the 7 touches. Jesse Hogan, well, I tell you what, that's one of the poorer games I think I've ever seen him play. 4 touches, 4 kicks, 1 behind. He was just out of confidence. Jamie Elliott worked hard for his 4 touches, 1 kick, 3 handballs. He kicked a goal, good to see, but certainly worked hard. There we go. It was plus 63 disposals to the Giants. Looking at the inside 50s, tightened up a little bit. 50 to 58. The Giants were plus 8 on the inside 50. Disposal efficiency, the Giants just a bit on top there. 79, pretty good. 76 the Maggies. 46 and 40. A free kick, 16 to 12. So not a great deal of free kicks there being given. I tell you what, my mouse has just run out. I've got to use just as well I can do this on the screen. Hit outs the Magpies there by 14. The clearances reasonably even in the centre, 13 to 11. Magpies plus 2. The Giants ended up getting on top around the ground. They were plus 6 there. Contested pretty much even. Uncontested, well, there we go. They were plus 73 were the Giants. I'm trying to just control this as good as possible. There we go. I just want to get down to the tackle count. The tackle count, it was good to see the Magpies actually lifted that tackle count. So I'll try and get this. No, my mouse is gone. Oh no, maybe it's back and I can control that. I was going to try and get the other one up. There we go. All right, it's back. There we go. 45-39 plus 6, 10 to 13. Tackles inside 50 for both teams were pretty good. Let's try and load up this live ladder, see if that live ladder is there. And there it is. With that win tonight, it takes Collingwood up to 5th on the ladder. Played 3. They've won 2 games and lost 1. So there we go. All top 6 have now played 3 games. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with a few games tomorrow, whether the Pies sit in there or drop out. That's fine. There's no worries about that. But that is your score. Magpies by 33 points tonight. Fantastic game. Hey, by the way, next round, of course, the Giants do have a bye. The Giants are going into a bye in the next round. But the Magpies, they come up another good opposition in the Brisbane Lions. That's, I believe that's next Thursday evening. Let me just double check that. Yes, that's next Thursday night football. That's Brisbane taking on the Magpies. Up there at the Gabba, that's 7:30 p.m. Melbourne time. 7:30 in the evening Melbourne time. Brisbane taking on Collingwood at the Gabba. That's going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game, that is for sure. So we'll see. Boston 2.0, here you go. What's happening? Go the Pies. Good to beat GWS. GWS since 2023. Tell you what, it was good. Dyson, I tell you, still side by a major ball winner of 31. He was good. He was definitely good. That is for sure. Dakes was good. There was a lot of the players, even the young new player in there. My gosh, what was his name? No, I can't. Oh, Oscar Steen. He was fantastic. Oscar Steen, I think he ended up with about 8 disposals, three kicks, 5 handballs, 2 marks. He had 20 hit-outs. He had 2 clearances. So that was fantastic. And he kicked a goal. And tell you what, didn't he celebrate with his mates after the siren down on the boundary line? Absolutely fantastic. But, hey, folks, that's all I've got for this one. Thanks, everyone, for coming on in. And, of course, as at Rosalie, your teacher will be dressing up in Magpies gear from head to toe. That'll be just fantastic. Oscar Steen is an elite ruckman. I tell you what, he can jump. He's got a good leap. got a good leap. I don't know whether he played basketball as a junior, but he's got a fantastic leap. So I think you might be sharing the honours with Darcy Cameron in the ruck. So that would be good. Be good to have them both down there. Some agile, good tools for the Maggies. That'd be good. All right, folks. Hey, thanks for tuning on in, everybody. Appreciate everyone for coming on in. It was great to see everyone coming on in this evening. I may do a game tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure. We will see. I just have to see whether I'm home or not. We do still have games coming up in, round 3. Of course, tomorrow St Kilda taking on Brisbane up there at Marvel Stadium, 12:30. Fremantle taking on Richmond at Optus Stadium over there in Perth. That's 4:15. Of course, Essendon, North Melbourne at Marvel Stadium tomorrow night. Sunday, Port Adelaide taking on West Coast Eagles. Carlton taking on Melbourne at the MCG. And of course, the Gold Coast Suns, the Bulldogs, the Hawks and the Swans all have a bye this week. If I do a game tomorrow, I think I might be doing the Fremantle-Richmond game if I'm doing one. I'll just have to check and see what's happening on the agenda tomorrow. Check in with the boss, see what's happening. You just never know, folks. Hey, all right, everybody. As I said again, thanks all for tuning on in. This is where I'm going to leave it off because it's time for a coffee. Music Cat's King. I tell you what, it's due for. Hey, just for your sake, where was the Cats? There we go for the Cats. All right, hang on, let me just stretch it out. I want to give the. You can probably see. I'm just trying to pull this across so I can see the betting for the flag. Who wins the premiership? Of course, the Gold Coast Suns at the moment, they're $5.50 favourite. Western Bulldogs are $7. Sydney are $9. Hawthorn are $9. Collingwood, I think they came in from about $31. They're into $26 to win the flag of the mighty Magpies. Geelong, can you believe it? Music Cat's King, I tell you what, they're $18 to win the flag is Geelong. $18. Brisbane, who are yet to win a game, I think they're about $6. That is staggering to me. Fremantle, $10. There we go. Let me just close this up a little bit more and put that back on there. Oh, yeah, that's got it back into position. See you tomorrow, bro. Yeah, no worries. All right, boss, no worries. As I said, maybe if I'm about tomorrow, I might try and do the Freo Richmond game. That should be an interesting game. Freo have been on fire. Richmond, I do like Richmond, an up and coming young side. So it should be a pretty good game tomorrow, hopefully. But probably one Freo are expected to win tomorrow. But anyway, hey, it was all happy days here tonight, folks. It was the Magpies getting the job done really, really well. 33 points of margin here at Marvel Stadium. Absolutely fantastic for the Magpies. Just what the doctor ordered. And they'll go into the next game against Brisbane up there at the Gabba next Thursday night. Full of confidence. So we'll just have to wait and see how Darcy Moore pulls up, if there's any news with him during the week. And, of course, Scotty Pendlebury, will see how his ankle is. Too early to think about that. Wait till these top teams play each other. Yeah, I know. I'll tell you what I know. But you know what? I still think that's a pretty good price for a couple of sides. Even the Maggies and the Cats. That's still pretty big odds for the flag. But I think it can be a little bit more blown out because now it's got the top 6 and then 7th to 10th. I know it's a little bit strange. It's going to be interesting to see how the finals play out this season because it's the first time we've had top 10. But it's going to be really, really interesting. But you know what? As long as we get to the top 6, I would assume. I'm not 100% sure if still the top 4 are the ones who have the double chance or the top 6 have the double. I don't know. I don't know if it's the top 4 or top 6 have the double chance now. I haven't really looked into it, but we'll worry about that closer to finals. We're still a long way away. Still another 20-odd rounds before we get close to the finals. All right, folks. Hey, that's all I got for this time around. Thanks everyone for dropping on in. Well done to the Pies. Happy Pies supporters. Happy Cat supporters. Good luck for your teams if they're still to play this week. But that's all I got for this one. So until next time, folks, ciao for now. And we'll see you at the next game.